Hello and good afternoon, everyone. We are getting you set for another presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on athletics.capital.edu. Welcome into the Freshies pregame show. I'm Charlie Danis. Today, we got a matchup of two OAC teams that are looking to move up in the conference standings as your Crusaders get set to welcome in the Blue Streaks of John Carroll. Well, let's go back to the last game that Capital played. That was on Wednesday night, and it was bad news bears for the Crusaders in more ways than one. First off, they ended up losing to Marietta by a final score of 82-62. Marietta, a team that has been ranked in the top 25 for much of this season, and there's no other way to put it. Capital just ran into a buzzsaw. Marietta held a lead of 42-26 at the half, and they were basically able to cruise to an easy 20-point win over the Crusaders. 18 points apiece for Tim Krieger and Lucas Isley. Those are the two guys that led the Pioneers offensively in that game. Leading scorer for Capital was Gia Haya. He had 15 points, 11 points each for Reed Bradfield and Cameron Caldwell, and 10 points for Tyler Schreck. But the bigger loss, if you want to put it that way, was an injury that came to one of the key starters for Capital this season, that being Joe Hartman. 38 seconds into the game, suffered what appeared to be a shoulder injury, and today he will not be playing for the Crusaders. We'll have more on that injury coming up later on in the pregame show, but we do know that Joe Hartman is not going to be in the starting lineup today for Capital. No word yet as to who will take his place in the starting five for the Crusaders this afternoon. And that's obviously a big loss for Capital, considering that Hartman is the leading rebounder within the OAC. Came in here averaging 8.4 points, boards per game, I should say. Tops within the Ohio Athletic Conference. And when you're going up against a team like John Carroll, who have an infinite amount of shooters, you do not want to give a team like John Carroll second and third chance opportunities on the offensive end, and you certainly want to be able to hold your own offensively today. This could very well be a game where we see which tempo wins out. John Carroll likes to run up and down the floor. A little bit of showtime, if you will, a nod to those great Lakers teams of the 80s that like to push the ball up the field. Seemed like every time they got possession of the basketball. Meanwhile, for Capital, they have been okay at times playing a defensive, slow-down type of pace today. Now, obviously, they have shooters out there like Gia Haya. He can line it up from three. Tyler Schreck has really been coming on offensively, but Capital has been very comfortable working the clock, rolling through their half-court offense, and perhaps that style will be able to slow down John Carroll and give Capital a chance to win this game. Like I said, this is an important game for both teams, and that they're looking to move up in the conference standings. Capital comes into this game with a OAC record of 7-6. John Carroll right behind them at 6-7. In fact, there's a big logjam between the third seed, which is currently held by Baldwin Wallace at 8-5. Go down to Capital, who's 7-6. They're tied for fourth with Heidelberg, who's also 7-6. And then you got John Carroll and Wilmington, both with 6-7 marks within OAC play. Why is that important? Well, top four seeds in the OAC tournament, they get home games in the first round of that tournament, which will be coming up here in late February. So everybody jockeying for position behind the front runners, Mount Union and Marietta, as the Purple Raiders and the Pioneers are duking it out for first place within the OAC. We're just getting started here on the Freshies pregame show. When we come back, we'll take a look around the Ohio Athletic Conference. Who's the reigning OAC Player of the Week, who's playing who around the conference, and much more. And we'll also tell you how the women's basketball team has been doing lately here at Capital as well. This is the Freshies pregame show here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, athletics.capital.edu.
Lunch, the most unappreciated meal of the day, which is why we at Freshie are screaming from the rooftops, let there be lunch. And no, not a sad sandwich at your desk. We're talking a flavorful Tex-Mex burrito after a brisk walk, or a nutritious kale Caesar with your work bestie. So let's do our minds, bodies, and taste buds a favor and let there be lunch. Download the game-changing new Freshie app to have your food ready or order at Freshie.com.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Welcome back to the Freshies pregame show. Freshie, healthy, fast, casual food that's good for your body and soul. Cap students get 10% off. Freshies, eat, energize. Today, John Carroll taking on Capital here at the Capital Center. Those two teams, members of the Ohio Athletic Conference. And speaking of the OAC, let's take a look around the conference. This is brought to you by the Capital Army ROTC. What if you could take a college course that not only required textbooks, but courage, determination, and a good pair of boots? A course that would lead directly to a career as a leader, not an intern or assistant. Ready to become a student and a leader? Enroll in Capital University Army ROTC. You could get a full tuition scholarship, and you'll graduate a leader and an officer in the U.S. Army. To learn more about Army ROTC, call 614-236-6808 for more information. That is 614-236-6808, or go to www.capital.edu/ROTC to learn more information about the Capital University Army ROTC. Well, let's tell you who is the reigning player of the week in the OAC, and for the 5th time already this season, it's a player from Mount Union. This time it is senior guard Devontae Friga, native of Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, and boy, what a week he had last week. Friga came off the bench for the Purple Raiders to score a season-high 27 points in a key 88-85 win against John Carroll, and he was also a rebound shy of a double-double in a 21.9 rebound effort in a victory against Ohio Northern, as the Purple Raiders were able to defeat the Polar Bears 75-63 in that one. So Devontae Friga takes home OAC Player of the Week honors. His teammates Colin Gurley and Nathan Bauer Malone, previous OAC Player of the Week winners this season, and it's no wonder that Mount Union finds itself at the top of the OAC standings with all those great performances recently from those players. As we sit here today, Mount Union leading the pack in the OAC with a 12-1 mark within OAC play. Right behind them in second place is Marietta at 11-2. And then reference this in the first part of the pregame show about how there is a logjam of teams in the middle of the conference standings, which will probably sort itself out within these next couple of weeks. Right now, it is Baldwin-Wallace in third place with an 8-5 mark within OAC play. Right behind them, in a tie for fourth place, is Capital and Heidelberg. Both those teams at 7-6, and right now it is Heidelberg who owns the tiebreaker over Capital in that one due to their double overtime victory against Capital here at the Cap Center a couple of weeks ago. And then right behind those teams, John Carroll and Wilmington both at 6-7. So still a lot to be decided when it comes to potential seeding for the OAC tournament. Remember, the top 4 teams get home games to begin the OAC men's basketball tournament, which will be coming up at the end of this month. Rounding out the stands in the OAC, Muskingum and Otterbein, both 3-10. And then the team in the basement at the moment, that would be Ohio Northern. They are 2-11 in OAC play. This game that we have here at the Capital Center will begin at 1 o'clock. We will have other games that will be played throughout the OAC later on this afternoon, beginning at 2 o'clock. Mount Union, the team leading the OAC at the moment. They play host to Otterbein, so that game will tip off at 2 o'clock in Alliance, Ohio today. Ohio Northern, meanwhile, they will be on the road. They'll be at Marietta taking on the Pioneers. That game is scheduled for a 3 o'clock tip. Also scheduled for a 3 o'clock tip, the Wilmington Quakers. They'll be hosting Baldwin Wallace. So already a big game right there in terms of how the standings will shake out within the OAC as Baldwin Wallace looks to continue to hold on to third place within the conference standings. And finally, Heidelberg will be at Muskingum today. That game is scheduled for a 4 o'clock tip-off. Now it's time for the Capital Countdown, brought to you by On the Border Mexican Grill and Cantina. The men's team got blown out by Marietta last Wednesday. The women's team also taking on Marietta, and they got nipped by the slimmest of margins as the women's team fell by a final of 54-53, a 1-point loss for Dixie Jeffers' crew. Ellie Watchman had herself a heck of a game. She had 22 points to go along with 10 rebounds as she garnered another double-double for herself. Also in double-digit scoring for Capital that night was Caroline Taphorn, but it was Marietta who was ultimately able to come away with the win against the Crusaders in that game on Wednesday night. Mackenzie Campbell making a layup with 34 seconds to go. That gave Marietta a 1-point lead. Caroline Taphorn tried a 3-point shot. That missed with 11 seconds to go. Ellie Watchman had herself an offensive rebound, but then after she passed it over to Caroline Taphorn, Caroline turned the ball over, and that is what led to Marietta ultimately holding on for a 54-53 win over Capital. So with the loss, the women's team dropped to 6-7 within OAC play, and seeding still very much up for grabs on the women's side in the OAC. As we mentioned, seeding very important within the OAC standings. Right now, the women's team in a 3-way tie for 4th place in the OAC standings, along with Otterbein and Marietta. So still a lot to be decided on the women's side when it comes to seeding for the OAC women's basketball tournament, which will also be taking place coming up later on this month. We will take a quick break. When we come back, you'll hear from Capital head coach Damon Goodwin as we get set to preview this matchup between his Crusaders and the Blue Streaks of John Carroll. This is the Freshies pregame show.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO. And for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Welcome into the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Planks Cafe and Pizzeria as we continue with more of the Freshies pregame show. Today, John Carroll comes to town to take on the Capital Crusaders. I'm Charlie Danes, and joining me now, the head coach of the Capital men's basketball program, Damon Goodwin. Coach, 82-62 loss at Marietta on Wednesday night. A lot of things didn't go right for your team. What was most disappointing in your mind?
Well, the most disappointing is we lost Joe Hartman. He played 38 seconds, got a little rotator cuff injury. We don't know how long that's going to be. He's a leading rebounder in the league, so we're going to have to figure out a way to make that up. And it'll be interesting today. We've got our work cut out for us. Some guys are going to have to step up and we have to play a lot better than we did the other day.
Speaking of guys that have been stepping up recently, I've been noticing that you've been giving more and more minutes to Trey Meister and Ryan Roth, particularly off the bench. Talk to me about how they have come along this season in their young careers here at Capital so
typical
far.
freshmen, as they get more games under their belt, they become a lot more comfortable, and both those kids have done a good job for us at different times. We need to make them more consistent, but I think they're working hard. I think they're starting to understand what we're asking of them. And they're both really good shooters, so they have a chance to get on the court for us to help us. That's one of our weaknesses right now, is shooting the basketball. So they certainly have a chance to get on the court for us and help us with that.
We're talking with Capital men's basketball coach Damon Goodwin. Coach, recently a milestone victory for you, 400 career wins here at Capital. Talk to me about what that number means to you.
It's great. It's good to have that number, but really we're more concerned about the number of wins we have this season. And when I'm done with my career, whenever that is, we'll worry about all that stuff when it's all over.
Speaking of today, you got a big game here today against John Carroll, 13-7 all, 6-7 in OAC play. Last time you played these guys, you had to hold on for dear life for a 73-72 win back on January 18th. What do you remember about that game? What can you take from that game that might help you today here?
Well, they're talented. They have a number of seniors. They like to play quickly. We don't, so it's going to be a battle of pace. We're going to be a little more efficient maybe with offense. We're going to try to push the ball up a little bit more, and I think that's a big story of the day. Are we going to have the game in the 70s, or are we going to have the game in the 80s or 90s? And if we have the game in the 80s or 90s, it's their advantage.
Two guys have certainly played big parts for John Carroll this year, the Berger brothers, Ryan and Jimmy. They've been their go-to guys all season long, it seems like. What makes those guys so effective, particularly offensively?
Well, they're really good athletes. They're really good athletes. One's a really good shooter, one's a really good driver. But they're big guards, they're hard to guard, it's a hard matchup. They're both really good with the ball. And they just make things happen for them, and everybody else on their team kind of lives off their actions. And so you have to contain them to have a chance against John Carroll.
Jackson Sartain has also had a very good year for John Carroll.
Yeah, probably the best shooter in the league. So, but he gets his shots off. The Berger's creating things, Flannery creating things for him, and you cannot let him catch and shoot because he's the best shooter in our conference.
Final question, Coach. What's the one thing that your team has to do well in order to get a win here today?
Well, without Joe, I'm a little worried about our rebounding, so we cannot allow them to have second and third opportunities, and we have to play our pace.
Okay. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Head Coach Damon Goodwin joining us here on the Freshies pregame show. We will have more coming up in just a moment.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
Life by the bucket.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Welcome back to the Freshies pregame show as we continue to inch closer and closer to tip-off between John Carroll and Capital. Let's now go ahead and set the table for Capital. This is brought to you by Pepsi. Well, talked about it in the first segment of the pregame show about how Capital will be without the services of the OAC's leading rebounder, Joe Hartman. Hartman suffering a shoulder injury in the 20-point loss to Marietta earlier this week. He is out today. Taking his place in the starting lineup will be the freshman from Anna, Ohio, Griffin Dosick. So Dosick in, Hartman out. It's going to be very important for Capital to control the boards here against a team in John Carroll that really likes to shoot the three ball, and you can ill afford to give them second and third chance opportunities offensively. So hopefully Griffin Dosick can go in there and provide them quality minutes both offensively and defensively today. We will take a quick break. When we come back, we will preview John Carroll and what challenges the Blue Streaks will present for Damon Goodwin's Crusaders today. This is the Freshies pregame show. Now, a quick word from our friends at Pepsi.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
Welcome back to the Freshies pregame show. Let's now go ahead and set the table for John Carroll. This is brought to you by Pepsi as well. Well, when you start a conversation about John Carroll basketball, you got to start with the Berger brothers. Ryan Berger, Jimmy Berger, two of the three top scorers on this John Carroll team. Let's start with Ryan. Ryan Berger averaging 18.4 points per game. That is third best within the OAC, shooting 48% from the field, 37% from three-point range, and a 79% free throw shooter as well. In other words, this guy's a really good shooter. He's definitely a guy to watch out for John Carroll. His brother Jimmy, well, he's pretty good too. 14.2 points per game. Not as good a three-point shooter as his brother Ryan. Jimmy only shooting 26% from three-point range, but he does shoot 49% from the field, so he more than makes up for his offensive woes from the outside with greatness on the inside. Definitely something to watch out for today. And Jackson Sartain, perhaps the best shooter in the OAC. 47% from the field, 47% from three-point range. He has already hit 67 threes this season, although he has not gone to the free throw line all that much, but he's been darn near perfect from the cherry stripe, 11 of 12, good for 92%. John Carroll has had a long history of having shooters all over the floor, and this year no exception. In fact, one guy that we definitely have to highlight, in addition to the Berger brothers and Sartain, has been Connor Fitzgerald. Now, Fitzgerald has not started a single game this season for John Carroll. He's played in all 20 games, but not a single start. He is shooting 50% from the field and 52% from three-point range. In fact, that shooting percentage best amongst three-point shooters in the OAC. So this is a deep John Carroll team in terms of shooting the basketball. The problem is they just have not been able to break through against the top teams in the OAC. Normally we see John Carroll up there with Mount Union, with Marietta, but they've already lost to the Purple Raiders. They've already lost to the Pioneers, and you can bet the house that they are wanting to get payback for what Capital did to them back on January 18th. That was a game where Capital had to hold on for a 73-72 win. Capital did not score another bucket for the last 2 minutes or so of that game, yet somehow, some way, found a way to get a win up at University Heights on John Carroll's home floor. So you know that John Carroll is wanting to get revenge here today on the home court of Capital as the Blue Streaks try to grab a win here at the Capital Center. But of course, Damon Goodwin's crew has other ideas today as Capital looks to keep itself in the running for a top 4 seed in the OAC tournament coming up later on this month. When we come back, we'll get to the keys to the game. What will it take for Capital to get a win here today against John Carroll? They're already up against it with losing one of their key players, Joe Hartman, to injury. So what will it take for Capital to get the W today against John Carroll? I will have the answer for you after this commercial break. We will continue with more of the Freshies pregame show in just a moment.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Plank's Cafe and Pizzeria? Plank's is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Plank's is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Plank's Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
Welcome back to the Freshies pregame show. It's now time for today's Keys to the Game, brought to you by the Marriott Columbus Airport. Confidence in motion. Well, key number one, and we've already talked about this in the pregame show, rebounding, rebounding, rebounding. All hands have got to be on deck for the Crusaders today, especially with the absence of Joe Hartman, the leading rebounder in the OAC. Cannot afford to give John Carroll second and third chance opportunities offensively today. Controlling the boards a must for the Crusaders this afternoon. Second key of the game. I think this is the game where Reed Bradfield really needs to go to work down there in the paint, especially with the absence of Joe Hartman. Not only does he need to make an impact rebounding-wise, but he's going to need to score a lot of buckets here today for Capital. So if Reed can get it going down there on the low block, that would help Capital immensely. And then finally, key number three, get some contributions off that bench. I talked with Coach Goodwin about how guys like Ryan Roth, Trey Meister have really been doing some good things off the bench lately for this Capital squad. If they can get points offensively off that bench, that would really help Capital, especially considering that they're going up against a John Carroll team where the offensive drop-off is really not all that steep. The bench needs to come through for Capital today. When we come back, we'll have starting lineups and the opening tip-off here at the Capital Center. Should be a good one between the Blue Streaks and the Crusaders. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball. Athletics.capital.edu.
Where will you live your purpose? Not in a refuge from the real world. The university anchored in the center of Ohio is at the epicenter of possibility, purpose, and the power of purple. There's no time for hesitation here. No need to put things neatly into boxes. Just the need to nurture the role you were born for, no matter who you are. We believe that engagement is as important as education, that curiosity is as important as the classroom. And when given the chance, we do more, not less. We live, learn, and lead with purpose. Just like the city that surrounds us. We're a coalition of the willing, an alliance of the ready, a union of the good. We're from Capital. And our purpose is purpose.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO. And for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Once again, good afternoon, everyone. We are coming to you from the Capitol Center as we get set for another presentation of Capital Crusaders men's basketball here on athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danes. I'll be bringing you the action today as the Crusaders get set to take on the Blue Streaks of John Carroll. Let's go ahead and get you today's starting lineups. These are brought to you by Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. Let's begin with the Blue Streaks of John Carroll University. An overall record of 13-7, a 6-7 mark within OAC play. Their starting five looks like this. At guard, the 5'10 senior from Westlake, Ohio, number 10, Sean Flannery. Also a guard for the Blue Streaks, the 6'1 junior from Medina, Ohio, number 15, Jackson Sartane. Also a guard, the 6'4 senior from Medina, Ohio, number 21, Jimmy Berger. Another Medina, Ohio native, the 6'3 senior guard, number 22, Ryan Berger. And rounding out the starting five for the Blue Streaks today is the 6'8 sophomore forward from Olmsted Township, Ohio, number 33, Emmett Chambers. The head coach of the Blue Streaks in his third season at John Carroll, Pete Moran. Now the starting five for the Crusaders of Capital University. Overall record of 11-9, 7-6 mark within OAC play. The starting five for the Crusaders look like this. At center, the 6'7 sophomore from Dixie Heights, Kentucky, number 2, Reed Bradfield. At forward, the 6'4 senior from Abuja, Nigeria, number 5, Ganayu Yahaya. At guard, the 6'3 sophomore from Erlanger, Kentucky, number 12, Tyler Schreck. Also at guard, the 6'4 freshman from Anna, Ohio, number 15, Griffin Dosick. And also at guard, the 6'1, 200-pound junior from Westerville, Ohio, number 30, Cameron Caldwell. The head coach of the Crusaders in his 25th season at Capital, head coach Damon Goodwin. And congratulations to Coach Goodwin with the win over Otterbein last week. 400 career wins here at Capital. They celebrated that feat before today's game. Coach Goodwin has had himself a pretty doggone good career here at Capital. Just another coaching milestone for Coach Goodwin. Congratulations to him. So now both teams will take the court. Bradfield will jump it up with Emmett Chambers. Our officials today, Brad Kelly, Will Holland, and Ed Huey. We are ready to go. And the opening tip, won by John Carroll. We are underway here at the Capitol Center. So the Blue Streaks with the first crack at it offensively. Sartane, one of the best shooters in the OAC, passing it over to Flannery. Back to Sartane for three. Knocks it down, and just like that, John Carroll out to a 3-0 lead. Caldwell trying to navigate the press. Ball stolen away. A turnover for Capital and a layup for John Carroll. Ryan Berger makes it, and immediately a timeout taken by head coach Damon Goodwin. A 5-0 lead for John Carroll, 19-28 left to go here in the first quarter. So it'll only be a 30-second timeout. So we'll keep it right here at the Capitol Center. What if you could take a college course and not only require textbooks, but courage, determination, and a good pair of boots? A course that would lead directly to a career as a leader, not an intern or assistant. Ready to become a student and a leader? Enroll in Capital University Army ROTC. You can get a full tuition scholarship, and you'll graduate a leader and an officer in the U.S. Army. To learn more about Army ROTC, call 822-36-6808 for more information, or go to www.capital.edu/ROTC. So after the quick timeout by Capital, Crusaders back with the basketball. And again, John Carroll going with the press. Capital this time able to break the press, but they're already down 5-0 here, not even a minute into this game. Caldwell dribbling to the left wing, passing over to Schreck. Schreck near the top of the arc, trying to decipher the John Carroll defense. 7 on the shot clock, passed off to Dosick. 5 on the clock. Dosick spinning around, wild shot will somehow rattle home as Dosick slipped to the ground, but Capital's on the board. They now trail John Carroll 5-2. Flannery will pass it. 3 ball. That's off the mark by Berger. Ryan, that is, and the rebound is taken by Reed Bradfield. So a 5-2 lead for John Carroll. 18:41 left to go here in the first half. A feed inside. Dosick bouncing it in. Has it blocked away, and now it is saved, but now back to Caldwell. Cam, jumper in the lane. That's no good. Dosick, offensive board. Griffin will get it back out to Cam for 3. That's an air ball. And now it's batted around before John Carroll finally comes up with a loose ball. Sartain ahead, layup, no good by Chambers as he was bothered defensively by Bradfield that time. And now Capital will try to calm things down here in the half court, but another turnover. Coming up with it is Ryan Berger. He's coming the other way, and count the bucket and a foul. So Tyler Schreck will be called for the foul. Meantime, it will be Ryan Berger who will head to the free throw line. Ryan Berger, Jimmy Berger, brothers. And twins as well, at least according to their class, their college class, both of them seniors. Jimmy slightly taller than Ryan. Jimmy measuring at 6'4", Ryan measuring at 6'3". So now Ryan at the free throw line trying to complete the three-point play, and he does so. Substitution for John Carroll now is Connor Fitzgerald, the top three-point shooter in the OIC, at least if you go by percentages, shooting 52% from downtown. He checks in for John Carroll. An 8-2 lead for the Blue Streaks. 18 minutes left to go here in the first quarter, or the first half, I should say. Schreck calling for a pick. Doesn't get it. Bradfield now handling the basketball near the top of the arc. Reed trying to drive through that John Carroll defense. Passing back out to Yahia, now over to Cam. Cam on the left wing, 7 on the shot clock. Cam will try to back his man down, and Caldwell will be able to earn a foul. Foul will go against Emmett Chambers, a sophomore from Olmsted Township, Ohio. That's the first of the game for John Carroll. So now Caldwell heading to the free throw line. Cam's first toss is up, and it is good. Caldwell shooting 69% from the foul line coming into play today. He's got one more chance at the charity stripe. It is up. That's no good. So he splits the pair. Rebound is taken by Jackson Sartain. And then Sartain is whistled for an offensive foul as Cam goes to the floor. And he's staying down there on the floor, at least for right now. So Caldwell finally gets to his feet. That's now the second team foul on John Carroll. First on Sartain. Checking in now for Capital is Ryan Roth, as John Carroll head coach Pete Moran trying to plead his case with the officiating crew to no avail. So Roth will check in. Caldwell, meantime, after taking that shot to the head, he will take a seat on the bench just to make sure everything is okay. Three-pointer, meanwhile, for Capital. It swishes through for Griffin Dosick. Dosick being inserted in the Capital starting lineup today after Joe Hartman suffered a shoulder injury in a loss to Marietta earlier this week. Hartman out today, Dosick in. And he's able to come up with something big there with the three-pointer. Meantime, an offensive rebound for John Carroll, but then an offensive foul called against the Blue Streaks. Third team foul on John Carroll, second foul on Emmett Chambers. So now he has to check out, and now a whole line changes taking place for the Blue Streaks as Eric Hanna, Mason Trubisky comes into the game, as well as Hugh Brown and Luke Hippler. Dosick inside, Schreck cuts to the basket and scores. We're tied at 8. 17 minutes left to play here in the first half. Trubisky passing it over to Jared Bublinik, who's also checked in. Inside, three-pointer on the way, no good. Offensive board, however, for John Carroll following the miss by Bublinik. So now it's Hugh Brown. Then a three-pointer, that's no good. Another offensive board for John Carroll. Passed around. Now in the hands of Eric Hanna, the freshman from Olmsted Falls, Ohio. He will try to drive. Layup, no good. Rebound is going to be taken by Ryan Roth. So now Capital back with the basketball. Roth will go up ahead to Schreck. And Schreck will immediately go to the hoop, but not before he is fouled. Foul will go against Luke Hippler. Already the 14th foul on John Carroll this half. Schreck on the right wing. Inside to Bradfield. Bradfield immediately double team. Yahaya, he'll now try to go baseline, and he'll score. Nice drive that time along the baseline by G. Yahaya. And Capital now has its first lead of the game, 10-8. 15:49 left to play in the first half. A drive on the inside. A wild shot that goes in for Mason Trubisky, freshman out of Mentor, Ohio. Roth brings it across the timeline in a 10-10 game. Under 15 and a half to play here in the first half. Yahaya, top of the arc, passing it over to Schreck. Tyler will let loose a jumper. That's off the mark, and the rebound is taken by John Carroll's Luke Hippler. Hippler, the Westerville, Ohio native, now kicks it outside to Trubisky. Now in the hands of Hanna. Hanna will try a three. That's no good. And Bradfield grabs a rebound for Capital. It remains a 10-10 game as we get set to tick under 15 minutes to play here in the first half. Roth being guarded by Hugh Brown. He'll bring it across half court. And now Brown making his life unbearable from a defensive standpoint. Somehow Schreck kept that in bounds. Roth will pitch it over to Dosick. Dosick with a pump fake. A drive inside, and Dosick scores. Capital retakes the lead, 12-10. Coming up on 14 and a half to play here in the first half. Meanwhile, Bublinik bouncing it over to Trubisky. Trubisky fouled on the floor. This will go against Reed Bradfield. Only the second team foul this half against Capital. Cam Caldwell will check back in for Capital. Meantime, the original starting five of Flannery, Sartain, Berger, and Chambers gets back in there for John Carroll. Actually, I take that back. Chambers is not back in since he's in foul trouble at the moment, so they will leave Bublinik out there. Meanwhile, layup is good for Jimmy Berger. It is now a 12-12 game, and now a turnover for Capital. Up ahead to Flannery. Now over to Ryan Berger. Switched around. Sartain for three, and he swishes it through from the corner. And another timeout will be called by Capital. 14-13 remaining here in the first half. It is John Carroll 15, Capital 12. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball. Athletics.capital.edu.
Lunch, the most unappreciated meal of the day. Which is why we at Freshie are screaming from the rooftops, let there be lunch. And no, not a sad sandwich at your desk. We're talking a flavorful Tex-Mex burrito after a brisk walk, or a nutritious kale Caesar with your work bestie. So let's do our minds, bodies, and taste buds a favor and let there be lunch. Download the game-changing new Freshie app to have your food ready or order at Freshie.com.
14-13 remaining in the first half. It is John Carroll leading Capital by a score of 15-12. This is Crusaders men's basketball on athletics.capital.edu. A quick check of the stats. Leading scorer for John Carroll is Ryan Berger. He's got 5 points early on here. Leading scorer for Capital is Griffin Dosick. He has got 5 as well. Capital shooting 56% from the field, 1 of 2 from three-point range. John Carroll, meanwhile, shooting 5 of 12 from the field, good for 42%. Giahaya checks out. Shrek back into the game for Capital. And now a whistle. That's Cam Caldwell, who's got his nose stuffed with a lot of cotton balls right there. Shrek. And Shrek not able to get it in time. 5-second call. The press was just too much that time for Capital to handle against John Carroll. So Ryan Roth will check out, and Giahaya will immediately go back in for Capital. A 15-12 lead for the Blue Streaks, 14-11 remaining in the first half. Flannery to Sartain for 3, and boy, Jackson Sartain has gotten off to a hot start here today as he knocks down another 3. It's now an 18-12 lead for John Carroll. They force another turnover. Berger for 3. That one is good by Jimmy Berger. And now another timeout's going to be called by Capital. That is the 3rd timeout taken by Capital this half. And the frustration level is starting to rise for Damon Goodwin, as he will talk with his team here. This will only be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here at the Capital Center. Coming up later on today, around the OAC at 2 o'clock, Mountain Union will play host to Otterbein. Ohio Northern, they will be on the road at Marietta beginning at 3 o'clock. Wilmington will tip off with Baldwin Wallace at 3 o'clock. And finally, Muskingum will play host to Heidelberg at 4 o'clock. And also, while we have this moment, scheduling-wise, Capital will be on the road at Heidelberg on Wednesday, but instead of playing a Saturday afternoon game against Baldwin Wallace next Saturday, they will actually be playing B-Dub on Valentine's Day. So that would be Friday, February 14th. Be sure to join us for that game. That game is scheduled for a 7 o'clock tip, which means that we will get things started with the Freshies pregame show beginning at 6:30. Again, that game with Baldwin Wallace will not be an afternoon game on next Saturday. Instead, it will be a Friday night game on February 14th as the Crusaders play host to the Yellow Jackets that night. Now back to this game. John Carroll, 21, Capital 12. Capital trying to find answers here as they have struggled against this John Carroll press so far. Meantime, Shrek looking for some help. Over to Caldwell. Cam dribbling around along the right wing. Over to Shrek, bouncing over to Dosick. Dosick, he'll go baseline. A pass outside and a offensive foul will be called against Dosick. 3rd team foul against Capital this half. And now Trey Meister will check in for Capital along with Dylan Dupler. Now we have seen Meister come off the bench a bunch for Capital these last couple games. Really haven't seen a lot of Dupler this season. Let's see if he can do some positive things for Capital out there on the floor. Meantime, John Carroll back with the basketball offensively. Hippler passing over to Berger. Now they go inside. Layup made by Luke Hippler. Largest lead of the game for John Carroll. They're now up by 11 with under 13 to play here in the first half. Caldwell drives in and scores. Nice move by Cam Caldwell as he's able to lay it up and in with the left hand. 3-pointer on the other end. That's off the mark. A battle for it. And John Carroll somehow comes away with it. Another 3-pointer. Sartain misses that one too. 2 straight missed 3-pointers. Capital dodging a couple bullets there. Meister for 3. Bullseye! Trey Meister nailing it from the corner. John Carroll quickly moving the ball up the court. Jimmy Berger over to Ryan Berger. Now in the hands of Sean Flannery. Flannery trying to probe the Capital defense, dribbling around. Now passing off to Jimmy Berger. Now Ryan Berger for three. That's no good. But the offensive board, well, it was held initially by Hippler, but he lost it out of bounds. So now they'll give the ball to Capital. And now the second line will come in for John Carroll. That would be Eric Hanna, Connor Fitzgerald, Mason Trubisky, Hugh Brown. 23-17 lead for John Carroll. Coming up on 12 minutes to play here in the first half. Capital trying to weather the storm. Caldwell losing the basketball. Another turnover for Capital, as Caldwell is complaining on the other end about him being whacked on the wrist. Up ahead now to Cam. Cam will swoop in and score. John Carroll 23, Capital 19. Connor Fitzgerald, three-pointer on the way. That is knocked down by Mason Trubisky. And now a foul on the floor. Looks like the three-pointer will count. Meantime, the foul will be called against Dylan Dupler on the floor. That'll be the 14th foul against Capital. Dupler, meanwhile, will check out for Capital. Quick jumper, that is no good, and Meister with the rebound for Capital. 26-19 lead for John Carroll. Caldwell to Yahaya. Over to Cam. Cam dribbling to his left. Over to Bradfield. Bradfield dribbling in, almost lost it. Still scrambling for the ball, and now he'll be called for a traveling violation. 11:16 to play here in the first half. John Carroll 26, Capital 19. Fast break points have played a big key in this game so far. John Carroll outscoring Capital in that category 14-5 so far. Hanna. Now a three-pointer knocked down by Hugh Brown. Boy, the three-pointers just keep on a-coming for John Carroll today. That is now the fifth three-pointer knocked down by the Blue Streaks. 10-point lead for John Carroll. 10:52 remaining in the first half. Bounced over to Yahaya. G looking over the John Carroll defense before passing off to Trey Meister. Now in the hands of Cam Caldwell. Caldwell, skip pass over to Yahaya. G trying to dribble in, and he will get a foul out of that. 15th foul against John Carroll. It'll go against Corbin Anthony, the junior from Madison, Ohio. So now Yahaya will check in. Shot is up and good for G. The original starting five minus Emmett Chambers checks back in for John Carroll. Flannery, Sartain, Berger. Yahaya, meantime, puts it up, and it is good. John Carroll 29, Capital 21. 10.5 to play in the first half. Jimmy Berger almost has his pocket picked by Yahaya. Berger gets it back. Now over to the other Berger. Ryan Berger for three. That's no good. But Jimmy Berger with the offensive rebound. He'll try a jumper in the lane. That's no good. And the rebound taken by Trey Meister. Meister across half court. Now over to Ryan Roth. Roth over to Dosick. And Dosick walked with the basketball. Another turnover for Capital. Their 9th of this half. And we have seen in past games when Capital does not take care of the basketball, really hurts their chances of losing games. They have definitely got to get that trend reversed in a hurry. Sartain, meanwhile, dribbling around, passing it off to Flannery. Flannery over to Sartain. Sartain, wrap around pass, and boy, able to thread the needle that time as he found Hippler for two. Back up to 10, the lead for John Carroll. And now another foul against John Carroll, as this one will go against Sean Flannery. That's the 16th foul against the Blue Streaks this half. So now Yahaya will inbound it from the far side near the student section. Gets it in to Roth. Roth across half court. Roth has it stolen away by Flannery. Up ahead goes John Carroll. Berger for three. Off the mark. Rebound taken by Yahaya. Following the miss by Ryan Berger. So now Yahaya will bring it across the timeline for Capital. G looking over the defense. Finally passing it off to Dosick. Hand it off to Schreck. 15 on the shot clock. G now from the left wing. Feeds it inside. Meister trying to make the catch out of bounds, and it will be another turnover for Capital, their 11th of the game. And now Reed Bradfield and Cam Caldwell will check back in for Capital. Schreck and Ryan Roth will go to the bench. 9:01 remaining in the first half. John Carroll 31, Capital 21. Berger in the lane, off the glass, no good. Rebound taken by Bradfield. Over to Cam Caldwell now. Caldwell will cross half court and settle on the right wing. Cam looking for someone to get open. To G for three. G knocks it down from the top of the arc. 31-24. John Carroll still with the lead. Under 8.5 to play here in the first half. Sartain for three. That rattles home. Boy, Jackson Sartain, sharpshooter. He's got 12. Ball bat out of bounds by Jimmy Berger. They will still stay with Capital. Another line change for John Carroll. This feels more and more like a hockey game rather than a basketball game with the wholesale substitutions that John Carroll tends to make during a game. But that is typically their system. They have a first unit, they have a second unit. Caldwell, meantime, will bring it across half court. Gets it over to Dosick. Dosick, right wing, passing off to Yahaya. Now over to Schreck. Schreck trying to find someone to get open. Bradfield feeds it inside. Dosick, power dribble, twisting, turning. Schreck for three. That's no good. Yahaya, offensive board. G will try to put it up. And another foul will be called against the Blue Streaks, their 7th. Foul will go against Mason Trubisky. So now Yahaya will head to the free throw line. Yahaya already with 7 points today. Looking to add to that total, and he does so by making his first free throw. He's now to 8. One more foul shot for G as he looks to cut this John Carroll lead to 8. Shot is up, and it is good. 34-26. John Carroll with the lead as we approach 7.5 to play in the first half. Eric Hanna passing it over to Brown. Back to Hanna. Now to Connor Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald might have gotten away with a little bit of a push-off right there, but no call. Brown, meantime, spinning around. Layup, no good for Corbin Anthony. And the rebound is taken by Capital. All right, let's see if Capital can chip away at this John Carroll lead now. Schreck near the top of the arc. 17 on the shot clock. Schreck lost it. Flat out turned it over to Corbin Anthony. Three-pointer on the other end. No good. And now rebound taken by Reed Bradfield. John Carroll's kind of cooled off a little bit from three-point range as of late. Schreck, meantime, handling the ball for Capital. Bouncing it over to Dosick. Dosick on the left wing. Over to Schreck. Schreck trying to back his man down. Over to Bradfield. Bradfield, floater. That's no good, and the rebound is taken by Connor Fitzgerald of JC. Way up ahead. Three-pointer now. No good. Rebound taken by G. Yahaya. as Hannah missed it that time for John Carroll. Dosick to Schreck. Schreck down the lane, and it will be a blocking foul against Corbin Anthony. 18th foul against the Blue Streaks. Well, if nothing else, the fouls are starting to pile up here for John Carroll, which will allow for some free throw opportunities for Capital here down the stretch as they look to chisel away at this 8-point lead for John Carroll. Schreck, meantime, at the foul line, able to rattle that one home. Original starting 5 coming back in for John Carroll, the first unit. Cam Caldwell checks out. Trey Meister back in for Capital. One more free throw attempt now for Schreck. Trying to cut the lead to 6. Does so. John Carroll 34, Capital 28. Coming up on 6 minutes to play in the first half. Sartain being guarded by Meister. Almost turned the ball over. Now it's a turnover. Here comes Bradfield. Reed will slam it home at the other end. It's now a 4-point lead for John Carroll. Nice job by Reed that time. Defense turning into offense. Flannery to Sartain. Sartain, long jumper. That will only be a 2. So the lead now is back up to 6. Dosick bouncing it over. Meister, high up the glass. No good. And now a foul will be called on the floor against John Carroll. Foul will go against Ryan Berger. 9th team foul against John Carroll this half. And now Reed Bradfield will head to the foul line. Bradfield so far with 2 points, does have 5 rebounds. Shot is up and no good for Reed, but the offensive board corralled by Trey Meister. Meister to Reed. Reed from the left elbow. That's no good. Tipped up. Meister able to put that one home. Or are they going to count the basket? It looks like they won't. No, the basket will count against Trey Meister. So it's a 4-point lead for Capital. Sartain for 3. No good. Rebound taken by Dosick. Meister over to Schreck. Now Bradfield, top of the arc. Hands off to Meister. Trey almost losing it, but another foul called against John Carroll. A reach-in foul against Sean Flannery, and that is now 10 team fouls on John Carroll, and we still have a little under 5 minutes to play here in the first half. And you really got to wonder if these foul calls against John Carroll, as Meister puts up the foul shot and makes it, you really got to wonder if these foul shots are starting to play within the head of John Carroll. It seemed as though that the Blue Streaks were knocking down three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer, but their offenses seemed a little disjointed, a little discombobulated here recently. Now it's a 2-point lead for John Carroll. Flannery on the left wing. Now Sartain almost losing his footing that time was Hitler. Berger to Berger. Ryan to Jimmy. Jimmy inside, and Yahaya not able to grab the defensive board. And almost a steal by Yahaya. Flannery for 3. That's no good. Yahaya with a defensive rebound. Another missed three-pointer by John Carroll, as they have all of a sudden gone ice cold from the field. Capital looking for the tie, or potentially the lead. Meister, top of the arc. 12 to shoot. Inside, Bradfield going to the free throw line. Sartain will be hit, or Sartain, excuse me, will be hit with the foul. Double bonus for Capital. Now a timeout's going to be taken by John Carroll. We'll step aside as well. 4:09 remaining in the first half. John Carroll 36, Capital 34. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball. Athletics.capital.edu.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO. And for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
Back here at the Capitol Center, 4:09 remaining in the first half. John Carroll leading Capital 36-34. Jackson Sartain leading John Carroll in scoring with 14 points. Giahaya, meanwhile, the leading scorer for Capital. He has got 9. John Carroll shooting 40% from the field. They have gone 7 of 21 from three-point range, good for only 33%. Meanwhile, for Capital, the Crusaders have shot 3 of 5 from downtown, good for 60%, and they are shooting 58% from the field. But the big story here in the first half, the disparity of fouls between both teams. Capital at the moment, 14 fouls. John Carroll, 11. First free throw by Reed Bradfield is good. One more coming up for Reed. Bradfield going for the tie. The shot is up and good. We are knotted at 36 with 4:09 left to play here in the first half. Berger to Berger. Jimmy to Ryan. Ryan inside, and a foul will be called against Griffin Dosick. That'll be the 15th foul against Capital this half. As Ryan Berger will now head to the foul line. Capital has already shot 11 shots from the foul line, 9 of 11, good for 82%. This is only the second free throw attempted by John Carroll today, and it is missed by Ryan Berger. As Connor Fitzgerald will check in for John Carroll. One more free throw attempt upcoming here for Ryan Berger. This is only the third foul shot by John Carroll. It's a make. John Carroll back up by 1, 37-36, 3:55 left to go. John Carroll setting up the press defense. Capital able to break it. Caldwell at the top of the arc. Over to Meister on the left wing. Bradfield inside. Schreck to the bucket. Capital back up by 1, 38-37, 3.5 to play. And what has been a weird first half. Giahaya poked it away. Berger gets it back. Back inside. Layup good for Jimmy Berger. Or excuse me, Connor Fitzgerald. John Carroll back up by 1, 39-38, 3:13 left to play. Caldwell almost losing his footing. Passed ahead to Giahaya. Bounced over to Schreck. Schreck thought about a jumper, thought better of it. Pulls it back out to the left wing. Schreck top of the arc. Looking over the John Carroll defense. Hands off to Caldwell. Caldwell with 5 on the shot clock. Cam has got to go here. 3, 2, launches a 3. That's an air ball, and that'll lead to a shot clock violation. I think Cam Caldwell just simply lost track of time that time on that offensive possession. So John Carroll still by 1, 2:45 remaining in the first half. Flannery driving inside, looking for some help. Finally gets it over to Connor Fitzgerald. Now it's over to Jimmy Berger. Berger down the lane, and a foul will now be called against Schreck. That'll be the 16th foul against Capital this half. And now some free throws upcoming here for Jimmy Berger. Jimmy Berger, 6'4" senior from Medina, Ohio. Like his brother Ryan, attended Cleveland St. Ignatius High School. As Ryan Roth will check back in for Capital, Schreck will head to the bench. As you would expect, John Carroll in University Heights, Ohio, very close to the Cleveland area. A lot of kids from Cleveland St. Ignatius, Lakewood St. Edward. Some kids from Mentor, Ohio as well, from the Northeast Corridor. As the free throws knocked down. John Carroll, 41, Capital 38. A little bit of breathing room now for the Blue Streaks, at least for the time being. Roth, cross half court. Over to Trey Meister. Meister on the left wing to Bradfield. And another foul is going to be called against John Carroll. The foul will go against Hugh Brown. So 2 free throws upcoming here for Ryan Roth, as he will look to bring Capital to within 1. Roth on the season, 60% from the foul line. Then again, he's only 10 free throws this year, as he's able to put that one through. One more foul shot upcoming here for Ryan Roth. Shot is up and good for Roth. John Carroll 41, Capital 40. 2:17 left to play in the first half. Berger to Brown. Brown back to Berger. Berger has it blocked, but then a foul will be called. The foul will go against Bradfield. 17 foul against Capital this half. So now Jimmy Berger will head to the foul line. Shot is up, and it is good for Berger. One more upcoming for Jimmy. Shot is up, and it is good. 3-point lead for John Carroll. Meister receiving the inbounds pass. Now he's met defensively by Ryan Berger. Meister will now go across half court. Meister to Caldwell. Caldwell will try to drive inside. 12 on the shot clock. Roth on the left wing. 9 on the shot clock for Capital. Over to Yahaya. G for 3. G not able to knock it down. We're tied at 43. Minute 38 remaining here in the first half. And John Carroll retakes the lead on a driving layup by Connor Fitzgerald. 45-43 lead for the Blue Streaks. Minute 25 remaining in the first half. Caldwell. Top of the arc, bouncing it over to Meister. Meister over to Bradfield. Reed with 10 on the shot clock. Bouncing it over to Yahaya. Will G try another 3? Well, he has the ball poked away. That's a turnover. So much for that. Hippler passing around. It's in the hands of Jimmy Berger. Berger almost losing it. Back outside to his brother, Ryan. 52 seconds and counting in the first half. John Carroll trying to add to a 2-point lead. Berger inside. Layup is good. 4-point lead for John Carroll. 47-43. 38 seconds and counting. Up ahead to Caldwell. Near steal that time. Caldwell for 3. Cam not able to knock it down. Boy, the 3-point shot has not been there for Cam Caldwell. He has not been able to graze iron today. 20 seconds and counting here in the first half. Shot clock and game clock are basically even. So John Carroll will be playing for the last shot of the half here. But almost held on. A turnover might be coming here, as now a jump ball will be called. That will give the ball back to Capital with 5.3 seconds to go here in the half. So Roth will be the trigger man. He will inbound it from the far side, but not before we have some maintenance done on the floor. Taking care of the wet spot on the floor after bodies went flying. Now we're ready to go. Roth from the far side gets it into Bradfield. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Reed drives in and scores. And that is how the first half will end. What an exciting first half we had between the Blue Streaks and the Crusaders, as Capital will enter the locker room down 2 to John Carroll. It's John Carroll 47, Capital 45 at halftime. Stay tuned for the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show. We will get you set for the day around the OAC, check the halftime stats, and more. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, athletics.capital.edu.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
Grab life by the bucket.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Lunch, the most unappreciated meal of the day. Which is why we at Freshie are screaming from the rooftops, let there be lunch. And no, not a sad sandwich at your desk. We're talking a flavorful Tex-Mex burrito after a brisk walk, or a nutritious kale Caesar with your work bestie. So let's do our minds, bodies, and taste buds a favor and let there be lunch. Download the game-changing new Freshie app to have your food ready or order at Freshie.com.
Welcome into the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show. At the half, it is John Carroll leading Capital 47-45 in what was a very entertaining first half. We'll check the halftime stats coming up later on. In the meantime, let's tell you who is playing who around the OAC. Coming up in about 15 minutes or so, they will tip things off at Mount Union. The Purple Raiders currently your leader in the OAC standings. Mount Union will play host to Otterbein today. Again, that game is scheduled to tip off in about 50 minutes, scheduled for a 2 o'clock tip-off. Coming up later today, Marietta playing host to Ohio Northern at 3 o'clock. Baldwin Wallace will be on the road. They'll be at Wilmington today, taking on the Quakers beginning at 3. And starting at 4 o'clock, Muskingum, they play host to Heidelberg. So no games going on around the OAC. The women's team for Capital, meantime, they are on the road today. They are at John Carroll. Their game does not begin until 3 o'clock. Dixie Jeffers' crew looking to get back on track after suffering a 54-53 defeat at the hands of Marietta on Wednesday night. And a couple of scores for you from the Division I ranks, men's basketball-wise. 2:10 left to go in the second half. Third-ranked Kansas leading Texas Christian 59-44. 4:39 left to play in the second half in Tallahassee, Florida. The 8th-ranked Florida State Seminoles with an 85-70 lead over the Miami Hurricanes. 1:40 left to play in the second half down on the Plains in Auburn, Alabama. The 11th-ranked Tigers trailing the 18th-ranked LSU Tigers 69-63 in a ranked matchup between SEC foes. 7:15 remain in the second half in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Unranked Michigan leading 16th-ranked Michigan State 56-46 in that one. And finally, 15th-ranked Kentucky on the road at Tennessee. 3:45 left to play in the first half. In that one, it is Kentucky leading the Volunteers 32-23. Quick timeout. When we come back, we'll take a look at the halftime stats and name our halftime hero. At half, it is John Carroll, 47, Capital 45. This is the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Welcome back to the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show. What if you could take a college course that not only required textbooks, but courage, determination, and a good pair of boots? A course that would lead directly to a career as a leader, not an intern or assistant. Ready to become a student and a leader? Enroll in Capital University Army ROTC. You can get a full tuition scholarship, and you'll graduate a leader and an officer in the U.S. Army. To learn more about Army ROTC, call 614-236-6808 for more information, or go to www.capital.edu/ROTC. It's now time to take a look at the halftime stats. These are brought to you by Planks Cafe and Pizzeria. First, the team statistics. Capital shot 58% from the field, 4 of 8 from three-point land, good for 50%. And they went 13 of 15 from the foul line, good for 87%. John Carroll, meanwhile, shot 45% from the field. They go 7 of 21 from three-point range, good for only 33%. And only 7 shots from the foul line for the Blue Streaks. They made 6 of them. That's good for 86%. Turnovers, Capital 14, John Carroll 5. Points off turnovers, John Carroll 25, Capital 11. Total rebounds. Who would have thought this? Without the services of Joe Hartman, the leading rebounder in the OAC, Capital, is actually +9 in that statistical category. They are out-rebounding John Carroll 20-11 at the moment. Good job for the Crusaders right there. That's obviously played a big part in them hanging with John Carroll in the first half. Meanwhile, assists, John Carroll 10, Capital 8. Blocks, 1 apiece. Steals, John Carroll 8, Capital 3. Fouls, and we definitely got to watch out for this, particularly in the second half. 12 fouls for John Carroll, 7 for Capital. Bench points, John Carroll 16, Capital 7. Second chance points, Capital 4, John Carroll nothing. Points in the paint, Capital 20, John Carroll 18. And fast break points, John Carroll 14, Capital 7. Now on to the individual statistics. Let's begin with John Carroll. Leading scorer for the Blue Streaks was Jackson Sartain. He had 14 points on 5 of 8 shooting from the field, 4 of 7 from the three-point line as well. 9 points for Jimmy Berger, 8 points for his brother Ryan, 6 points for Luke Hippler, 5 points for Mason Trubisky, 3 points for Hugh Brown, and 2 points for Connor Fitzgerald. Meantime, for Capital, leading scorer for the Crusaders was G. Yahaya. He had 12 points, shot 3 of 3 from the field, 2 of 2 from three-point land, and 4 of 4 from the foul line. 10 points as well for Reed Bradfield, who is rapidly approaching a double-double. He's got 10 points to go along with 6 rebounds. 6 points for Tyler Schreck, 5 points apiece for Trey Meister, as well as Griffin Dosick, as well as Cam Caldwell. All those players with 5 points. And finally, Ryan Roth rounds out the scores for Capital. He has got 2 points so far today. So that's a look at your halftime stats. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll name our halftime hero and revisit our keys as we get set for the second half of play here at the Capital Center. At the half, John Carroll leading Capital 47-45. This is the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show.
Capital University presents The Good Guarantee. The Good Guarantee promises families who work for nonprofits or in public service will never have to pay more than 50% tuition based on their total amount of financial aid. This includes your talent, merit, and need-based aid. You can live on campus or at home, it's renewable for up to 8 semesters, and you can study any major and minor. Current students can apply too. You qualify if you or your spouse or your parent or guardian work for a nonprofit or public service organization and you are a full-time undergrad. Because we want to create purposeful people, courageous community, and hopeful humanity. The world needs more good. The world needs you. You invest in others, we invest in you. For more information, visit capital.edu/good-guarantee.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team for the next big event, Planks Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Planks Cafe and Pizzeria? Planks is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
new vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
Welcome back to the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show. Coming out of halftime, it will be John Carroll leading Capital 47-45 in what has turned out to be a very entertaining game so far here at the Capital Center. It is now time to name our halftime hero, the standout of the first half for Capital. This is brought to you by Freshies. Healthy, fast, casual food that's good for your body and soul. Tap students get 10% off. Freshies. Eat. Energize. Well, our halftime hero today will be G. Ahaya. He's got 12 points, and he has been perfect from the field, 3 of 3, from three-point range, 2 of 2, and from the foul line, 4 of 4. It's all added up to 12 points for him in the first half to go along with 4 rebounds. A guy that would also warrant strong consideration as well would be Reed Bradfield, who is on track for a double-double. He's got 10 points to go along with 6 rebounds, but that provides an excellent segue for me into revisiting our keys brought to you by the Marriott Columbus Airport. Why do you say that? Well, my first key of the game was for Reed Bradfield to make an impact here both offensively and on the boards, and he's done that today. 10 points to go along with 6 rebounds. Hopefully he can keep that up. Second key of the game was to hold your own on the boards, and Capital has been able to do that very well. In fact, they are out-rebounding John Carroll at the moment 20-11. So +9 in that statistical category. If that trend continues, that might help Capital eke out a win here today against John Carroll. And then the final key of the game for Capital was to take care of the basketball, to try to limit the turnovers against this John Carroll team. And a trend that definitely has got to reverse itself going forward for Capital is the turnover battle. Capital with 14 turnovers in the first half as opposed to only 5 for John Carroll. If Capital is looking to pick up a key win in OAC play today, they have got to take better care of the basketball coming up here in the second half. That will conclude the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show. When we come back, the start of the second half here at the Capital Center is John Carroll leading Capital 47-45 here on athletics.capital.edu.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
Grab life by the bucket.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Where will you live your purpose? Not in a refuge from the real world. The university anchored in the center of Ohio is at the epicenter of possibility, purpose, and the power of purple. There's no time for hesitation here. No need to put things neatly into boxes. Just the need to nurture the role you were born for, no matter who you are. We believe that engagement is as important as education. That curiosity is as important as the classroom. And when given the chance, we do more, not less. We live, learn, and lead with purpose. Just like the city that surrounds us. We're a coalition of the willing, an alliance of the ready, a union of the good. We're from Capital. And our purpose is purpose.
Back here at the Capitol Center. Well, we were treated to a very entertaining first half, and we are expecting more of the same in the second half, as John Carroll will enter the second half with a 47-45 lead over Capital. It is the Blue Streaks who will begin with the basketball as action resumes here in Bexley, Ohio. Ryan Berger down the lane, spin move, jumper, off the mark, no good, and Schreck grabs a defensive board for Capital. He'll feed it ahead to Dosick. And Griffin with a couple power moves, bouncing it outside to Yahaya. G for three, that's off the mark, but Bradfield battling for it. It's finally corralled by Ryan Berger of John Carroll. Sartain with a little head fake, three-pointer. That is off the mark, and the rebound is taken once again by Schreck. So another opportunity for Capital to either tie or take the lead here in the early going of the second half. Schreck on the right wing, dribbling to his left now. Hands off to Cam. Caldwell looking over the defense. Over to Schreck. Schreck skips it over to Dosick. Dosick over to Yahaya. Inside. Bradfield making the catch. Lays it up and in. Reed Bradfield with 12 points. We're tied at 47. Still a long way to go here in the second half. Berger passing off to Sartain. Now it's back in the hands of Jimmy Berger. Berger almost losing it. Now to the other Berger, that being Ryan. Ryan slashing his way to the hoop. Missed the layup. And the rebound is taken by Schreck. And now a foul will be called against Capital. It will go against Reed Bradfield. First team foul against Capital this half. And now Ryan Berger will head to the foul line. Shot is up, and it is good. John Carroll retakes the lead, 48-47. Berger now trying to make it a two-point edge for the Blue Streaks. It is up, and it is good. 49-47. John Carroll with the lead, and now John Carroll setting up its press defense. Schreck, cross half court. To the top of the arc. Schreck right wing. Passing over, and Caldwell completely missed it. That'll be a over the back violation since it was not tipped by a John Carroll defender. And we talked about how Capital has got to take care of the basketball better, particularly here in the second half. Jamie Berger gets it in to Sean Flannery. Flannery inside to one of the Berger brothers. Another pass inside. And now an offensive foul is going to be called against Emmett Chambers. Boy, I thought for a moment a defensive foul was going to be called against Reed Bradfield, but apparently not. And it's been a tough day for Emmett Chambers. That's already his third personal. Yahaya up ahead, and it's picked off. Sartain for three. No good. Rebound taken by Yahaya. G trying to drive. Then he turns it over again. He'll dive to the floor. G gets it back. Mad scramble. Out of bounds. And they're going to give it to John Carroll. John Carroll is a lot like Virginia Commonwealth at the Division I level in that these Blue Streaks like to create havoc with that press defense of theirs. They're wanting to force turnovers, frustrate their opponent into making dumb mistakes, which would lead to opportunities on the offensive end. And now a foul is going to be called against Griffin Dosick. Second team foul against Capital this half. So now Jimmy Berger will head to the foul, will inbound it, excuse me. As Flannery will pass it off to Jackson Sartain. Sartain over to Ryan Berger. Now over to Jimmy Berger. Jimmy will try to drive the lane and can't get that shot to go. Tip. That is missed as well by Chambers. Rebound taken by Bradfield. Dosick up ahead. He'll slow his roll. Over to Schreck. Schreck will go inside. Now to Cam. Cam down the lane. And a blocking foul will be called against Sean Flannery. Second team foul against John Carroll, and an update on the foul situation. So Chambers has got 3. 2 apiece for Flannery, Anthony, and Tane for John Carroll. That's what the foul situation looks like. Griffin Dosick, meanwhile, he's got 3 fouls for Capital. As Yahaya will check back in. Trey Meister has checked in as well for Capital. 2-point lead for the Blue Streaks. And now a substitution taking place for John Carroll is Luke Hippler, the junior from Westerville, Ohio. So he's a native of these parts here in Central Ohio. Caldwell getting it into Schreck. Schreck at the top of the arc. He's on the right wing, bounces it over to Bradfield. Bradfield will drive the lane. Floater, good for Reed. Tied at 49 apiece between John Carroll and Capital. 17:06 remaining in the second half. Hooked away by Yahaya, out of bounds. And Gene knows that if he had been able to hold on to the basketball a little bit more, that most likely would have led to a dunk on the other end. Instead, it's still John Carroll basketball. 18 seconds remain on the shot clock. Flannery over to Hippler. Back to Berger. Berger will drive the lane, and his shot no good. Rebound taken by Yahaya. Schreck will now handle the basketball. He will take it up past half court. 49-49 between these two teams as we approach 16.5 to play in the second half. Meister, right wing. Trey with a couple of threes in the first half. Trey over to Bradfield. 9 on the shot clock for Reed. Reed, spin move, floater is good. Reed Bradfield starting to come alive a little bit here offensively. He's now got 16. He's had himself a fabulous game so far. Berger on the left wing, and now an offensive foul will be called against John Carroll. Moving screen will be called against Jimmy Berger. 3rd team foul against John Carroll this half. And Pete Moran is incensed. So a 51-49 lead for Capital. 16-15 left to go in the second half. Meister gets it in successfully to Caldwell.
You don't have to take it. Team up, ref.
Caldwell. They'll take it across half court. Schreck over to Yahaya. Yahaya at the top of the arc. Over to Caldwell. Inside to Schreck. Tyler will try to back his man down near the left block as he'll try to go to work. And now a foul will be called against Eric Hanna. 4th team foul against John Carroll. Actually, Mason Trubisky with a foul. My mistake. And now one of the officials coming to the scorer's table for a discussion. Caldwell getting set the inbounder for Capital from under the baseline. Crusaders with a 51-49 lead. 15:52 remaining in the second half. Caldwell will now have the opportunity to inbound it. Gets it in successfully to Bradfield, who has come alive here in the second half. Over to Caldwell on the left wing. Over to G, inside. Bradfield making the catch, puts it up, no good, and the rebound is taken by Connor Fitzgerald. Up ahead now to Anthony, who almost lost it. Now out of bounds, and they're going to give it to Capital. Anthony was trying to find Hanna on the pass, but the pass never got to Hanna. So it's Crusader basketball. Now Emil Hess, the junior from Burton, Ohio, checks in for John Carroll. Now a foul is going to be called against Trey Meister as Mason Trubisky, he didn't necessarily flop, but at the same time, you wouldn't expect Mason Trubisky, a 6'5" freshman, to flop against a player like Trey Meister, who only measures at 6'3", 195. Trubisky's got some weight to him. compared to Meister. But in the end, it turns out to be a turnover for Capital. 13 foul for Capital this half. Flannery will inbound it. Over to Ryan Berger. Sartain for three. No good. Rebound taken by Caldwell. Boy, it has been a while since Jackson Sartain has been able to hit anything from three-point range, and that guy is considered one of the better shooters in the OAC. 2-point lead for Capital. 15-10 left to go in the second half. Bradfield going to work, misses the shot. Rebound is, well, it goes out of bounds, and they're going to give it to John Carroll. A host of players had a chance at that ball. Giahaya prominently for Capital. Now the ball given back to John Carroll. Sartain over to Ryan Berger. Ryan Berger on the left wing. Passing off to his brother Jimmy. Jimmy here in the corner with 14 on the shot clock. Passing over to Sartain. Sartain almost lost the ball. Could have gotten away with a traveling two there. Floater, no good. Rebound taken by Yahaya. Tell you what, Bradfield and Yahaya, they have brought their rebounding A game here today for Capital, as the Crusaders continue to cling to a 2-point lead. Bradfield inside, Schreck all by himself, and he scores. Capital 53, John Carroll 49, other end, and a bucket for Ryan Berger. Back to a 2-point lead. Schreck passing it off to Yahaya. G told to slow things up by his head coach Damon Goodwin. Approaching 14 minutes to play here in the second half. It continues to be neck and neck between Capital and John Carroll. Floater for Schreck is no good. Rebound taken by Sartain. John Carroll looking to push the envelope a little bit. Berger back to Flannery. Flannery top of the arc. Flannery attempting to drive. Back outside to Berger. And then almost a steal by Meister, as he almost took it away from Chambers. Floated over to Sartain. Sartain, step back three, nails it. That was good defense, better offense that time, as Sartain was able to give John Carroll a 1-point lead. Another three-pointer for Sartain, and it's good. You can't afford to turn over the basketball, because those types of things can happen against John Carroll. In the blink of an eye, they can not only regain the lead, but add to the lead. It is now a 4-point lead for the Blue Streaks. 57-53, 13 minutes left to play. Yahaya on the left wing, passing off to Schreck. Schreck, step back jumper, knocks it down. He put his defender on skates as well. He brings Capital to within two. Sartain to Berger. Inside to Chambers. Chambers, hook shot. Rattles home. And now a timeout will be taken. 12:35 left to play here in the second half. John Carroll 59, Capital 55. This is Crusaders men's basketball. Athletics.capital.edu.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
I want
12:35 left to play in the second half. John Carroll leading Capital 59-55. What a game it has been for Jackson Sartain. Moments ago, knocking down back-to-back three-pointers within the last minute or so. He's now got 20 points for John Carroll. Meanwhile, Reed Bradfield leading the way for Capital offensively. He's got 16 points to go along with 7 rebounds. So Capital now back with the basketball. And once again, John Carroll will go with the press defense. They will get it into Schreck. Schreck over to Caldwell now. 18 on the shot clock for Capital. Caldwell bouncing over to Schreck. And way over the head of everybody as Schreck was trying to get it over to Yahaya, but Yahaya not able to get to the pass. Another turnover for Capital. Ryan Berger on the right wing, over to Flannery. Flannery over to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald outside to Flannery. Now over to Trubisky. Flannery, foul by Yahaya. That'll be the 14th foul against Capital this half. Schreck will check out. Griffin Dosick will check back in for Capital. Still a 4-point lead for John Carroll as we have ticked under 12 minutes to play. Swung around to Flannery. Flannery with a little bit of a spin move. Top of the arc, showing off some nice ball movement skills and knocking down the jumper from 10 feet. Quite a little exhibition right there by Flannery as he pushes the John Carroll lead to 61-55. Caldwell, left wing. Passing off to Meister. Swung around to Dosick. Handed off to Yahaya. Back in the hands of Meister. 9 on the shot clock. Over to Bradfield. Over the head. Another turnover. As that ball is tipped around and the Blue Streaks come up with a loose ball. Sean Flannery inside to Hippler. Three-pointer on the way. That's no good. Rebound taken by Reed Bradfield, his 8th of the game. Caldwell here on the right wing. Crusaders, they need a bucket here. Better yet, they need to take care of the balls. That one is almost picked up once again by John Carroll. Meister over to Yahaya for 3. G knocks it down once again. Big bucket right there for Capital. 61-58 brings Capital to within 3. Berger outside. Flannery traveled. Pete Moran arguing his case with one of the officials to no avail. It's Ryan Roth. Well, inbounded for Capital. He will be inbounded to Dosick. Dosick up ahead to Schreck. And now Schreck will pull it back out as Capital will work it in the half court. 18 on the shot clock for Capital as Schreck dribbling to his right. On the right wing, over to Trey Meister. Meister over to Roth. Roth to Dosick inside. Bradfield making the catch. Nice pump fake by Reed Bradfield. He scores. Got 2 guys up in the air, and when they came down, he was going up for 2 more. Capital down by 1. Jumper, good for Sartain. The John Carroll lead back up to 3 after the jumper made by Sartain. Dosick down the lane. Now back out to Schreck. 15 on the shot clock. Schreck over to Meister. Trey for 3. No good. Rebound taken by Jimmy Berger of John Carroll. Berger continues to go up ahead. Shot missed. Now a round-out attempt here for Reed Bradfield. Reed coming the other way. And he loses the ball Capital will keep it. Bradfield was wanting a foul call on that play. So now Meister will check out. Roth, meanwhile, will inbound it. Emmett Chambers and Sean Flannery back in the game for John Carroll. 3-point lead for the Blue Streaks, 9:07 left to play in the second half. It is inbounded to Dosick, and then a foul called on the inside against John Carroll. The foul will go against Jimmy Berger, and that'll be the 15th foul on John Carroll this half. It will be inbounded to Dosick. Dosick with a little head fake. Spin move. Finds Schreck for two. Boy, you want to talk about threading the needle that time. Dosick was able to find his teammate for 2 more points. Brings Capital to within 1. Flannery, jumper, off the mark, no good. Bradfield with a rebound. Capital with a chance to retake the lead now. By the way, 9th rebound of the day for Bradfield. Rapidly approaching another double-double. Yahaya passing over to Dosick. Dosick got pushed by Connor Fitzgerald. 16 foul on the Blue Streaks this half. One more, and Capital will be shooting 1-1. In the meantime, Caldwell will inbound it from the far side as Roth will take a seat for Capital. They'll go inside of the big man, Reed Bradfield. Bradfield along the baseline. Hook shot is good. Capital retakes the lead. 64-63. Bradfield's now got 20. Berger over to Connor Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald passing off to Flannery. Back to Fitzgerald for 3, and he knocks it down. There's a reason Connor Fitzgerald's one of the best 3-point shooters in the OAC, and he showed it right there. John Carroll back up, this time by 2. 66-64. Over to Schreck. Schreck going over his options. Over to Bradfield. Reed thought about a jumper. He'll drive on in. Back outside. G for 3. Bullseye! And now a timeout will be taken by Capital. 7:33 left to play in the second half. It's Capital 67, John Carroll 66. This is Crusaders men's basketball on athletics.capital.edu.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO. And for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Plank's Cafe and Pizzeria? Plank's is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Plank's is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Plank's Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
.733 remaining in the second half, and this has all the makings of a game that will go right down to the final buzzer. Capital leading John Carroll 67-66. And it will be the Blue Streaks who will get the ball back here momentarily. Flannery will now bring it up court. It's stolen away by G. Here comes Yahaya. Yahaya drives in, off the glass and in. It's a 3-point lead now for Capital. Berger down the lane, off the glass, no good. Mad scramble for the ball. Schreck came up with the loose ball, but then a late foul is called. It's going to go against Bradfield, the 15th foul against the Crusaders this half, and boy, that was a real late whistle. Berger getting set to inbound the ball for John Carroll, but first a conference between a couple of our officials. After the discussion, it's inbounded to Ryan Berger. And now a foul called on the inside. It'll go against Tyler Schreck. 16 foul against Capital this half. Flannery gets it inside. Sartain, layup, no good. Rebound, lost by Schreck. Simply lost it out of bounds that time as he was trying to grab it from Sean Flannery. So now Flannery will inbound it for John Carroll. Flannery has his pass deflected by Ryan, and Ryan Berger is able to get the loose ball. Flannery over to Sartain, back to Flannery. Flannery for three, no good. Rebound taken by Reed Bradfield, his 11th board of the game. Boy, Reed has shown up today, 20 points, 11 boards. Schreck, left wing, dribbling to his right. Tried to go down the lane, but Dosick instead receives the pass. Back out to Yahaya. 7 seconds on the shot clock. G trying to size up his man. He'll now try to drive inside. Bradfield, reverse layup, no good. Schreck, offensive board. And now a timeout will be taken. Smart decision right there by Schreck. We'll take a timeout. 6:21 remain in the second half. Capital 69, John Carroll 66. This is Crusaders men's basketball on athletics.capital.edu.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
6:21 left to play in the second half. Capital 69, John Carroll 66. Let's take a look at some of the players that have starred for both teams so far today. Jackson Sartain leading the way for John Carroll with 22 points. He has shot 8 of 15 from the field, 6 of 12 from three-point range. 12 points for Ryan Berger. Jimmy Berger, his brother, has got 9. Meantime for Capital, 3 double-digit scorers for the Crusaders. 20 points apiece for Reed Bradfield and G. Yahaya, and 12 points for Tyler Schreck. Caldwell gets it into Yahaya. G trying to drive, floater, no good. And now G trying to fight for possession with Sartain, but Sartain ultimately wins that battle. Quick transition, rolls in and out for John Carroll. It goes out of bounds, and the Blue Streaks will keep possession. That ball just would not go down for Luke Hippler. Now Flannery gets it in. Hippler back to Flannery. 15 on the shot clock. Flannery over to Sartain. Flannery will now rotate it over to Berger. Jimmy Berger, reverse layup, no good, but a foul will be called along the baseline. Foul will go against Schreck. 17 foul on the Crusaders this half, and now the 1-and-1. And boy, oh boy, free throws, I got a feeling, are going to play a huge part in how this game will be decided today, as Capital is one John Carroll foul away from entering the 1-and-1 themselves. But first, Jimmy Berger steps to the foul line. Front end is good. Now there's a whistle and a lane violation. Will go against John Carroll. So take the free throw off the board and give the ball to Capital. Wow. So Yahaya will throw it ahead now to Dosick. Dosick turns it over. Man. He had Reed Bradfield wide open too, but Flannery did just enough defensively to force the turnover. Berger, meanwhile, missing the three. Bradfield with another rebound for Capital. Still a three-point lead for Capital. 5:38 left to play in regulation. Caldwell, left wing. Passing off to Bradfield. Reed trying to go over his options. Trying to drive, but first he is fouled by Luke Hippler. 17th foul on John Carroll. Okay, now it becomes a game of who can make more free throws here down the stretch. Bradfield will head to the foul line. He has hit 2 of 3 from the cherry stripe so far today on the season, shooting just under 60%. Shot is up, no good. Batted back, Bradfield able to grab the ball thanks to the excellent tip by Dosick. So a fresh offensive opportunity here for Capital. Caldwell to Yahaya, over to Bradfield. Bradfield, he'll drive inside. Dosick finishing it off with 2. Capital 71, John Carroll 66. We are approaching 5 minutes to play in regulation. That goes off the back heel of Meister. Caldwell up ahead. Yahaya will be fouled. Jimmy Berger with the foul. 18th foul on the Blue Streaks this half. Now a timeout will be taken by John Carroll. We'll step aside once again. 4:55 remain in the second half. Capital leading John Carroll 71-66 here on athletics.capital.edu.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
.455 left to play in the second half. It is Capital leading John Carroll 71-66. Let's reset for you here just for a moment. The possession arrow in favor of Capital. Crusaders with 17 fouls. John Carroll with 8. And speaking of foul shots, or fouls, Giahaya will head to the foul line. They'll be shooting 2. First toss is good. Yahaya now with 21. Looking to make it 22 points. Shot is up and good. 22 points for Giahaya. More importantly, a 73-66 lead for Capital with 4:50 left to go in regulation. Flannery gets it inside. Berger able to finish. Jimmy Berger, that is. 73-68 lead for Capital. Approaching 4.5 to play in regulation. Caldwell, he'll now race up the floor. Past half court. Inside to Bradfield. Bradfield over to Yahaya. Yahaya will try a 3. That's no good. Tipped around, and John Carroll comes away with the board. Jimmy Berger will go down the lane. He'll score. Back-to-back buckets by the Berger brothers. And now a foul is called against John Carroll. It will go against Ryan Berger. That will be the 19th foul against the Blue Streaks. And that will now send Trey Meister to the line. Meister on the season from the foul line, only 4 of 10, but again, he's only had 10 attempts from the foul line, so not a large sample size by any means. Up and good for Meister. He will earn himself one more shot at the foul line. Looking to push this Capital lead to 5 here in the late going. Shot is up and good for Meister. 75-70 lead for Capital. 4:05 left to play in regulation. Jimmy Berger down the lane and count the bucket and a foul. The foul will go against Griffin Dosick, 18th foul against Capital. And now Jimmy Berger will look to try to complete the three-point play. Not before a substitution, though, as Connor Fitzgerald checks back in for the Blue Streaks. Now Berger is set, puts a shot up, and it's good. A 2-point lead for Capital, 75-73. Caldwell making the catch. Brings it across the timeline as we tick under 4 to play. Caldwell near the left wing. Caldwell still with the basketball. 13 on the clock. Caldwell to the hole, out of bounds, and Capital will keep possession. So Cam will now inbound it from the baseline. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Gets it into Yahaya. G trying to work against this man. And now a foul will be called. Foul will go against Ryan Berger. That's the 10th team foul against John Carroll. So Capital will be in the double bonus the rest of the way. So Yahaya with another foul shot. It's up and good. Give Capital credit. They have been taking advantage of their opportunities at the foul line today. That now makes them 18 of 21 from the cherry stripe. That's good for around 85-86%. And now a lane violation called against Capital, so take the free throw off the board for Yahaya. So one free throw for Yahaya is good. Only amounts to one more point for Capital, 76-73. 3.5 to play. Berger with a kick. Berger for three, knocks it down. Brian Berger knocking down the trifecta. We're tied at 76. Caldwell, cross half court. And now a foul will be called once again against John Carroll. Sean Flannery is hit with a foul for the Blue Streaks. That is his fourth. Caldwell shot up and good. Boy, the fouls are starting to pile up really for both teams. Griffin Dosick's got 4. Reed Bradfield and Tyler Schreck have 3. Meanwhile, Jimmy Berger, Ryan Berger, Sean Flannery, and Emmett Chambers all have 3. Actually, Sean Flannery, has 4. But all those other players I just mentioned, they have 3 fouls. There are going to be some people leaving this game early because of foul trouble. 78-76 lead for Capital. 3:05 left to play in the second half. Flannery outside. Sartain almost lost it. Back to Flannery. Sartain, he'll try a step back 3. No good. Rebound taken by Reed Bradfield. And now Caldwell will slow things up. He will gently bring it across the timeline. 2:43 left to play in the second half. It is Capital 78, John Carroll 76. Yahaya, right wing. He'll try to feed it inside, gets it inside to Schreck. Schreck got fouled. So now he'll head to the foul line. Foul will go against Jackson Sartain. Sartain with his 3rd foul of the game. And Schreck can't make the first one. He'll try to salvage this trip with one more free throw. Try to make it a 3-point lead for Capital.
Go, Cap!
Shot is up, and it's good. Schreck will check out. Trey Meister will check back in for Capital. It's a 79-76 game. Capital with a 3-point lead as the clock ticks under 2.5 to play. Sartain, left wing. And a foul will be called on the inside against Capital. It will go against Reed Bradfield, and that'll be the 19th foul against Capital. So still the 1-1 here as Emmett Chambers, the sophomore from Olmsted Township, Ohio, steps to the foul line for the Blue Streaks. But not before Schreck checks back in. Trey Meister will take a seat back on the Capital bench. Here comes Chambers. Shot up, and it's good. Chambers will now cut this Capital lead to 1. Takes a deep breath, dribbles the ball a couple times. Shot is up, and it rattles home. 79-78. Caldwell with the catch. Caldwell will try to go down the lane, but he lost it off his foot. Oh, boy. I'm sure Cam Caldwell would love to have that back. He had the lane open from here to there, but simply dribbled the ball off his foot out of bounds, and that's a turnover for Capital. 2:10 left to play here in regulation. Capital 79, John Carroll 78. Chambers over to Berger. Now it's to Sartain. Flannery on the left wing. And a foul called on the inside against Capital. That is their 10th. Double bonus for both teams the rest of the way. And now Emmett Chambers will head to the foul line once again, this time with an opportunity to give John Carroll a late lead. Chambers today only with 3 points. Shot is up and good. For the time being, we are tied at 79. But now Chambers is looking to give a 1-point lead to the Blue Streaks. Shot is up, and it is no good. Yahaya grabs the defensive board. So it remains tied at 79. Caldwell needs help. Up ahead to Yahaya, and he can't keep it in bounds. Boy. I mean, that was sloppy from beginning to end. First off, Yahaya stopped to tie his shoe in the middle of the backcourt while the play was still going on. And then Caldwell just kind of threw him a lazy pass right there. Oh, boy. Taking care of the basketball. As that'll be a kick ball off of Caldwell. And so now Flannery will inbound it. Game still tied at 79. Three-pointer for Berger. No good. Rebound taken by Yahaya. So now Capital with an opportunity to regain the lead right here. Minute 23 and counting. Schreck will bring it across half court. They'll size up the John Carroll defense, passing it over to Caldwell on the right wing. Now in the hands of Dosick. Dosick to Yahaya. Yahaya left wing to Bradfield. Long jumper. And it's no good. Rebound taken by Jimmy Berger. Oh, boy. That must have hit every part of the rim, but somehow, some way, it didn't go down for Reed Bradfield, and now a timeout will be taken by John Carroll. We'll step aside for a moment. 1:01 remaining in the second half. Tied at 79 between Capital and John Carroll here on athletics.capital.edu.
Lunch, the most unappreciated meal of the day. Which is why we at Freshie are screaming from the rooftops, let there be lunch. And no, not a sad sandwich at your desk. We're talking a flavorful Tex-Mex burrito after a brisk walk, or a nutritious kale Caesar with your work bestie. So let's do our minds, bodies, and taste buds a favor and let there be lunch. Download the game-changing new Freshie app to have your food ready or order at Freshie.com.
1:01 remaining in the second half. Tied at 79 between John Carroll and Capital. And the Blue Streaks will have possession of the ball. All right. Double bonus for both teams the rest of the way here. Possession arrow in favor of Capital. Keep that in mind here in the late going. A tremendous game for Jackson Sartain. He's got 22 for John Carroll. Meanwhile, a pair of 20-point-plus scores for Capital. Giahaya with 23, Reed Bradfield with 20. So the Blue Streaks will now have possession. Berger will inbound it to Sean Flannery, who will bring it across half court. We're under a minute to play here in regulation. Jimmy Berger. And Yahaya with a foul. Yahaya was trying to go for the ball that time, but instead leveled Flannery to the floor. And so now Sean Flannery is heading to the foul line. Has an opportunity to give John Carroll the lead here in the late going. Flannery's shot is up and good. So now it's John Carroll by 1. Substitution now for John Carroll as Connor Fitzgerald comes back into the game for the Blue Streaks. One more foul shot for Flannery, the senior from Westlake, Ohio. Couple dribbles, shot up. It's good. So now a 2-point lead for John Carroll. 51.4 seconds to go in regulation. Capital needs a bucket here in the worst way. Caldwell will bring it across half court. Bouncing it over to Schreck. Over to Bradfield. Bradfield over to Yahaya. Inside to Schreck. Tyler trying to back his man down near the right block. Twisting, turning. Pass to Bradfield. Bradfield puts it up. And now it'll go out of bounds, and they will have the ball stay with Capital. 4 seconds remain on the shot clock.
Got 4 seconds.
And now a timeout's going to be taken by Capital. 24.9 seconds to go as Capital takes its final timeout of the game. Okay, double bonus the rest of the way for both teams. Possession arrow still in favor of Capital. 24.9 seconds remaining on the game clock. 4 seconds remaining on the shot clock. You got to think that right now in that Capital huddle, Damon Goodwin is drawing up a play for his best athlete, Giahaya. Either a lob pass inside, perhaps it's also a play to read Bradfield as well, as Bradfield has come alive in this game offensively. 20 points to go along with 13 rebounds. Whichever this play goes here in the upcoming moments, it's got to be quick, it's got to be close to the basket. And at the very least, at least with the way that these officials have been calling the game, try to put yourself in a position for them to have to make a call here rather than have to swallow their whistles within these last few seconds or so. It's John Carroll 81, Capital 79. No matter what happens in this game, be sure to join us for the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. We'll take a look at the final stats, name our player of the game, check some scores around the Ohio Athletic Conference, and more. That's the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show coming up after the conclusion of today's Titanic struggle. All right, so both teams back on the floor. Caldwell will be the trigger man. Along the baseline, he's handed the ball. Caldwell looking for somebody, anybody, gets it into Dosick. Dosick got fouled. And the foul will go against Emmett Chambers. So now Griffin Dosick with the biggest pair of free throws that he has shot this season coming up here.
Go Cap.
Dosick, the freshman from Anna, Ohio, shot is up, and it's good. Dosick's got one more shot at the foul line. Can he tie this bad boy? Yes, he can. Tied at 81. 21 seconds and counting here in regulation. It's ahead to Berger. Berger will now pull it out, which is surprising considering that it looked like he had a lane to drive that time, but instead he pulls it out, calls a timeout, and now another pause in the action here. 15.8 seconds to go here in regulation. We're tied at 81. John Carroll with the basketball. Okay, now it's time to play strategy for the Blue Streaks. Your top player, scoring-wise, has been Jackson Sartain. He is by far your best shooter. It is imperative for Capital defensively to keep their eye out for Sartain and to not let him get open along the perimeter. Otherwise, he could be deadly from that spot. But then again, the Berger brothers, they've had good games too. Jimmy and Ryan, each with 16 points apiece. So now we get to see what happens as both teams go back on the hard court. 15.8 seconds to go in regulation. We're tied at 81 between John Carroll and Capital. Jimmy Berger will inbound it right in front of the John Carroll bench. He will get it in successfully to Flannery. 13 seconds, 12 seconds. Flannery still dribbling around. Finally gets it in the hands of Jimmy Berger. 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Berger's got to go. Berger along the perimeter. Poked away by Schreck. Here comes Schreck. Shot up. It's no good. And we're going to go to overtime. A steal by Schreck, denying an offensive opportunity for Berger. He put up a prayer, and it clanked off the back iron. And now we head to overtime here in Bexley. Give us a chance to catch our breaths. Tied at 81 as we head to overtime here on athletics.capital.edu.
Where will you live your purpose? Not in a refuge from the real world. The university anchored in the center of Ohio is at the epicenter of possibility, purpose, and the power of purple. There's no time for hesitation here. No need to put things neatly in their boxes. Just the need to nurture the role you were born for, no matter who you are. We believe that engagement is as important as education, that curiosity is as important as the classroom. And when given the chance, we do more, not less. We live, learn, and lead with purpose. Just like the city that surrounds us. We're a coalition of the willing, an alliance of the ready, a union of the good. We're from Capital. And our purpose is purpose.
Welcome back to the Capital Center as we welcome you into overtime. John Carroll and Capital tied at 81. Regulation wasn't enough, so now we get 5 minutes of overtime basketball here in Bexley, Ohio. The tip is won by John Carroll as Flannery will now motor up the floor. Past half court, he'll now hand it off to Sartain. Sartain back to Flannery. Flannery inside. Berger laying it up and in. And John Carroll strikes first here in overtime. They go up to 83-81, 4:35 left to play in OT. So now Capital looking for an offensive response here. Schreck will bring it across half court. Yahia passing it over to Bradfield. Bradfield pass it off to Schreck. 10 on the shot clock. Schreck dribbling in and scoring. Tyler Schreck able to somehow get that one to go with the left hand. 83-83. Pump fake. Three-pointer. Berger got hit, but no foul. And after the miss, Schreck with the rebound. And oh boy, that John Carroll sideline is hot. So now Schreck brings it across half court. Capital with a chance to grab its first lead of overtime here. Caldwell, left wing. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Bradfield feeds it inside to Dosick. Dosick, little spin move, power dribble, and now a foul will be called against John Carroll. This one will go against Jimmy Berger. That's his fourth foul of the game. And remember, both these teams are shooting the double bonus the rest of the way. So now Dosick, who made 2 monumental free throws at the end of regulation, misses the first free throw here. But without those 2 free throws that he made at the end of regulation, Capital is not in this spot right now. So now he'll try to regroup and knock down a foul shot here. It is up, and it is good for Dosick. Capital 84, John Carroll 83. 3.5 to play in overtime. Jimmy Berger almost has his pocket picked by Yahaya. Somehow keeps possession. And a foul will be called against Capital. Berger missing the shot, but he will now head to the foul line with a chance to give John Carroll the lead once again. By the way, interesting statistical note. Before overtime, 10 lead changes, 10 ties. This has been the definition of a back-and-forth affair between both these teams, as Trey Meister will now check back in for Capital. Meanwhile, Jimmy Berger, he's got 16 points on the day. He's gone 5 of 6 from the foul line this afternoon. Once again at the cherry stripe. His shot is up, and that is no good. So now Berger will try to split the pair here and try to make this a tied ball game. Berger's shot is up. It is good. Once again, another tie, this time at 84. Caldwell catches the pass, trying to drive in. A foul might have been called there, but instead the officials making no call, as Caldwell lost possession. And now John Carroll back with the basketball. Chambers, he's trying to back his man down, high off the glass. That's no good. And Meister with the rebound for Capital. So now Capital will slow things up. Under 3 to play in overtime. 84-84 between John Carroll and Capital. Bounced over to Schreck. Now over to Dosick. Dosick inside. Meister can't handle the pass, but it goes off the fingertips of Sean Flannery, allowing Capital to maintain possession. 10 seconds will remain on the shot clock for Capital, as Caldwell will get set to inbound this from the baseline. Cam going over his options. Finally gets it in to Yahaya. G, jumper, off the glass, no good. Tip ball, Yahaya grabs it for Capital. Back out to Schreck. Fresh shot clock, as Schreck almost lost his balance that time, but kept his composure. 10 on the shot clock for Capital. Schreck is looking for people to clear out. He's looking for some space. Fighting out of a double team. Dosick for 3. No good. Yahaya, offensive board. He digs it out for Capital. Back outside to Schreck. 15 on the shot clock now for Capital, as the Crusaders fans give Yahaya a nice hand for the effort. Schreck trying to find some space. Meister for 3. No good. Another offensive board for G. Yahaya. His 3rd on this possession alone. 15 on the shot clock for Capital. The Crusaders still trying to grab the lead here late in overtime. Schreck will go inside, twisting, turning, shot up. It's good! Capital 86, John Carroll 84. A minute 33 remaining here in overtime. So Schreck with the made bucket. Sartain, meanwhile, checks back in for John Carroll. And now a discussion between head coach Damon Goodwin and one of the officials about this upcoming play. Discussion is over now as Flannery will inbound it. Bringing the ball up the floor will be Jimmy Berger. Berger cross half court to the left wing. Berger dribbling to his right. Over to Sartain. Sartain will launch a 3. That's way off the mark. But an offensive board. That's another miss for John Carroll. And this time, Dosick grabs the defensive board. Emmett Chambers had a chance to potentially tie the game, but he missed it, and Dosick with a key defensive rebound for Capital. Coming up on a minute to play here in overtime, and the crowd starting to come alive here at the Capitol Center. 11 seconds, 10 seconds. Schreck will now get going. 7 seconds on the shot clock, and a charge will be called against Schreck. He can't believe it. Jimmy Berger was the one who held his ground defensively. And given the way that these officials have called the game today, we haven't seen a lot of charges, so that is kind of surprising. So now John Carroll will get the ball back here. 50.8 seconds to go in overtime. Capital clinging to a 2-point lead, 86-84 in favor of the purple and white. Ryan Berger, top of the arc, trying to drive inside. Shot is in, and we are tied at 86. 40.6 seconds remain. And now John Carroll will take a timeout. So, 40.6 seconds left to play here in overtime. Reed Bradfield has fouled out for Capital. Tyler Schreck, he's got his fourth foul. Got a lot of double-digit scores in what you would expect in a high-scoring game like this. Sartain leading the way for John Carroll with 22. Ryan Berger with 18. Jimmy Berger with 17. And then 4 double-digit scores for Capital today. Gia Haya with 23. Reed Bradfield finishes the day with 20 points and 13 rebounds. Tyler Schreck has got 17 points and 7 rebounds. And Griffin Dosick, who had to make the start today because of the shoulder injury to Joe Hartman, he has been able to chip in with 10 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Not bad for the freshman from Anna, Ohio. So the possession arrow still favoring Capital. Both teams shooting in the double bonus. Game tied at 86 apiece. It's been a good one here at Capital. First buzzer sounds. Pretty soon the second buzzer will sound as well, alerting both teams to get back onto the court. As we will look to finish things off here in overtime. Again, following the conclusion of today's game, stay tuned for the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show, as we'll check the final stats, name our player of the game, check scores around the OAC, and more. The Byers Airport Subaru postgame show coming up after the conclusion of today's game. Capital with possession. Caldwell receives the inbound from Yahaya. He's now met with a double team. Cam needs help in the worst way. Gets it over to Trey Meister, and a nice job by Capital breaking the press. Ryan Roth now near half court, being guarded by Jackson Sartain. He will hand off to Caldwell. 10 on the shot clock for Capital. Cam has got to go here. 5 seconds, 4 seconds on the shot clock. Cam down the lane, he lost it. Jimmy Berger the other way. John Carroll with the ball, with an opportunity to win it. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. And now a timeout taken by John Carroll. 2.3 seconds to go here in overtime. We have already had a double overtime game played here at the Capitol Center earlier this season. It was Capital falling to Heidelberg in that one. Final score ended up being 96-91 in that one. So now, an interesting situation in front of us here, as John Carroll with a chance to win it. 2.3 seconds to go, more than enough time for your basic catch and shoot. It's going to be up to Capital to try to deny them on this offensive possession and try to send it into another overtime. So back on the court they go, both John Carroll and Capital. 2.7 seconds to go in overtime. Tied at 86. Flannery will inbound it from the far side. Looking, still looking, gets it into Berger. Berger for 3, no good. Tipped up in the air, and we are headed to a second overtime. So we are heading now to double overtime. We'll be back in just a moment. Tied at 86 between Capital and John Carroll. Here on athletics.capital.edu.
Capital University presents The Good Guarantee. The Good Guarantee promises families who work for nonprofits or in public service will never have to pay more than 50% tuition based on their total amount of financial aid. This includes your talent, merit, and need-based aid. You can live on campus or at home, it's renewable for up to 8 semesters, and you can study any major and minor. Current students can apply too. You qualify if you or your spouse or your parent or guardian work for a nonprofit or public service organization and you are a full-time undergrad. Because we want to create purposeful people, courageous community, and hopeful humanity. The world needs more good. The world needs you. You invest in others, we invest in you. For more information, visit capital.edu/good-guarantee.
Well, apparently we need more time to try to decide this one. Tied at 86, we are now in double overtime. This is the second double overtime game that has been played here at the Cap Center this season. Earlier this season, Capital fell to Heidelberg 96-91 as the layup is converted by Jackson Sartain. So John Carroll now up 88-86. 4:35 left to play in double overtime. Caldwell being guarded by Flannery. Over to Ryan Roth. Roth inside to Caldwell. Cam turns it over. And now a foul against Giahaya, as Ryan Berger was able to pick off the pass that time. So now Ryan Berger will head to the foul line. And an early opportunity here for John Carroll to jump out to a 4-point lead here in the early going of double overtime. Berger's shot is up and no good. Berger with one more opportunity at the foul line. It is up, and it is good. So now it's a 3-point lead for John Carroll, 89-86. 4:15 left to play in double overtime. Cam Caldwell. Bouncing it over to Trey Meister. Meister passes off to Yahaya. 10 on the shot clock for Capital. Roth. Right wing, going over his options. Roth now dribbling to his right. Over to Yahaya. 2-1. Roth able to get it. No, he can't get it off. It's a shot clock violation. And boy, I hate to say this, but this is eerily similar to what happened to Capital in that double overtime loss to Heidelberg. They just simply ran out of gas in the second overtime as Flannery got fouled on the play, and now he's heading to the free throw line. So Flannery will head to the foul line. Dosick will head to the bench. Dylan Dupler getting set to check in for Capital. Capital so far has been outscored 3-0 in the second overtime. Sean Flannery, first foul shot is up and good. Flannery's shot up and good. John Carroll 91, Capital 86, 3:40 left to play in the second half. Capital needs a bucket right here. Caldwell almost lost it again. And then a foul is called against Emmett Chambers. Now heading to the foul line is Cam Caldwell. Caldwell with 7 points in the game, 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Meanwhile, John Carroll will send in Luke Hippler as a replacement. Caldwell's shot is up and good. That brings Capital to within 4. Caldwell now trying to make it a one-possession game. Isaiah Kelly has checked in for Capital as Caldwell knocks down the second free throw. 91-88. John Carroll with the lead. 3:25 left to play in double overtime. Ryan Berger inside. Layup converted by Luke Hippler. Ohio will now pass it off to Caldwell. Caldwell trying to drive inside, and he can't get the bucket to go. Tipped around, and the rebound is taken by Jimmy Berger. He'll pass it up to his brother Ryan. And now John Carroll, with this lead, they can afford to burn a little bit of clock here. Flannery passing off to Ryan Berger. Now over to Flannery. Back over to Ryan Berger. 5 on the shot clock. Berger lost it. And now a foul is going to be called against John Carroll. The foul will go against Luke Hippler. And now free throw opportunities here for Capital. So let's see who is headed to the free throw line. Looks like it's Giahaya.
To the line for the Crusaders, number 5, Gunny Yahaya, shooting 2.
Yahaya with a double-double today, 23 points and 12 rebounds. We're going to make this a one-possession game for Capital. Shot is up and it's good. That draws Capital to within 4. Now another important foul shot upcoming here for Yahaya as he tries to trim this John Carroll lead to 3. Yahaya receives the ball. Eyes the rim. Puts it up, no good. It remains a 4-point lead for John Carroll. 2.5 to play in double overtime. Flannery over to Ryan Berger. Now to Sartain. Now to Flannery. Jamie Berger on the left wing. Trying to spin. And a foul will be called. Oh boy, I don't know about that.
What are you looking at, Rep?
Clearly the fans here at Capital do not agree with that call. Crowd wanted to travel that time, but instead, Jimmy Berger will head to the foul line. Berger's first foul shot is up and no good. Final foul shot, good for Berger. 94-89. John Carroll with the lead as we tick towards 2 minutes to play here in double overtime. Capital needs a bucket. Roth to Caldwell. Cam dribbling to his left. Cam losing his footing. And this will lead to a jump ball. It should be Capital possession. And it is. So Capital will keep possession. 10 seconds remain on the shot clock. Connor Fitzgerald, meanwhile, will check back in for John Carroll as Roth readies for another inbound from the baseline. Roth gets it in to Yahaya. 8 on the shot clock. Over to Roth. 5 on the shot clock. Inside. Dupler outside to Meister for 3. Trey not able to knock it down. Tip back out. Meister able to grab it for Capital. Fresh shot clock for the Crusaders. Meister on the right wing. Over to Caldwell. 8 on the shot clock. Caldwell trying to cross his man up. Inside. Caldwell can't make the layup. Oh, that is a backbreaker for Capital if there ever was one. 1:10 remaining in double overtime. John Carroll 94, Capital 89. And Dupler will have no choice but the foul here. As Ryan Berger will now head to the free throw line. Capital's got to try to conserve as much clock as possible. And they also got to hope that John Carroll leaves some points on that foul line. So Ryan Berger's shot, it's up and good. He's got 22. Shot is up, and that'll rattle home. (96-89). John Carroll with the lead. Capital's got to get some shots up in a hurry. Caldwell missing another layup. And boy, that's just a microcosm of just how tough the day has been for Cam Caldwell. So another foul against Capital, and some more foul shots upcoming here for John Carroll. And barring an absolute miracle, for the second time this season, Capital will lose a double overtime heartbreaker here at home. The first was to Heidelberg, and the second will most likely be here to John Carroll. The shot is up, and it is good. 9-point lead for John Carroll. 48 seconds and counting here in double overtime. Yahaya for 3. That's no good. And the rebound is taken by Jimmy Berger. He is fouled by Cam Caldwell. And now both teams making the long, slow walk towards the foul line. Jimmy Berger is already ready. And if he makes these 2 free throws, he will become the 3rd John Carroll player today to score 20-plus points. Makes the first one. So now he's at 19. Just needs one more to join the 20-point club. Shot is up and good. 20 points for Jimmy Berger, 23 points for his brother Ryan, and 24 points for Jackson Sartain. Rolling timeout. With this game well in hand, John Carroll has decided to empty its bench. Owen O'Toole, Patrick Doherty have entered the ball game for John Carroll, as well as P.J. Flannery. Out there with Connor Fitzgerald and Sean Flannery. 30 seconds and counting. Yahaya for 3. No good. And the rebound is taken by John Carroll. And Capital at this point is just going to call off the Dogs, and they're going to let the clock run out. Boy, Capital battled John Carroll tooth and nail today. But for the second time this season, they drop a double overtime contest here at the Capitol Center, as they will end up falling to John Carroll by a final of 100-89. Stay tuned for the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show, as we will wrap things up from the Capitol Center in just a moment. Again, the final, John Carroll 100, Capital 89. This has been a presentation of Crusaders men's basketball on athletics.capital.edu.
new vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Welcome into the Byers Airport Subaru post-game show. The final today from the Capital Center. That would be John Carroll defeating Capital 100-89 in double overtime. Second time this season that Capital has fallen in double overtime here at the Cap Center. First loss was to Heidelberg earlier this year. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final stats of today's game. Let us begin with the team statistics. Capital shot 48% from the field. They go 6 of 19 from three-point range, good for 32%. And they go 27 of 34 at the foul line, good for 79%. John Carroll, meanwhile, shot 42% from the field, 11 of 35 from downtown, good for 31%. And 25 of 31 from the foul line, good for 81%. Turnovers turned out to be a bugaboo for Capital today. They turned the ball over 30 times, does Capital, as opposed to only 12 for John Carroll. John Carroll, 36 points off turnovers, Capital 17. Total rebounds. Capital ends up out-rebounding John Carroll 49-29. Assists, Capital 15, John Carroll 14. Blocks, John Carroll 4, Capital 1. Steals, John Carroll 16, Capital 6. Bench points, John Carroll 21, Capital 9. Second chance points, Capital 12, John Carroll nothing. Points in the paint, Capital 42, John Carroll 36. And fast break points, John Carroll 24 and Capital 13. On to the individual statistics now. We begin with John Carroll. Jackson Sartain led the way for the Blue Streaks with 24 points. Shot 9 of 18 from the field, 6 of 13 from three-point range. Ryan Berger had 23 points. He shot 7 of 18 from the field, 8 of 11 from the foul line. Jimmy Berger had 20 points. He shot 5 of 11 from the field and 9 of 12 from the foul line. Rest of the scores for John Carroll look like this. Sean Flannery and Luke Hippler each had 8 points. Connor Fitzgerald and Mason Trubisky each had 5. Emmett Chambers had 4. And Hugh Brown had 3. We now go to the individual statistics for Capital. Leading scorer for Capital was Ganahu Yahaya. Yahaya had 24 points. He shot 6 of 13 from the field, 4 of 9 from three-point range, and 8 of 10 from the foul line. Also had 12 rebounds on the day. Also a very impressive game for Reed Bradfield. He had 20 points to go along with 13 rebounds, 9 of 17 from the field. Tyler Schreck with 17 points. Griffin Dosick with 10. Cam Caldwell with 9. Trey Meister with 7. And Ryan Roth with 2 points. That rounds out the scoring for Capital. And now it is time for the postgame coach interview brought to you by Freshies. And we are lucky enough to be joined by assistant coach Nick Fellhaber. Coach, I'm sure at this point you are sick and tired of these double overtime games with the game earlier this year against Heidelberg. Your team clawed and scratched, but those turnovers just turned out to be too much, apparently.
Yeah, turnovers were a bit of a problem for us, and then also just at the end, foul trouble kind of got us. You know, when you have a bunch of your starters foul out, it's just tough to hang in.
Given the fact that you were down a big man and Joe Hartman, I thought Griffin Dosick filled in beautifully today. He scores in double figures. What do you think of his performance today?
They did a really good job. He stepped up. You know, he's young. He's got a lot to learn still, but he's really growing day in and day out. And I think the way he stepped up, he wasn't afraid of the moment. I thought I was happy for him the way he performed today.
Another big man that performed today, Reed Bradfield. He ends up going for 20 points and 13 rebounds. I think he felt that he needed to step up a little bit with the absence of Joe Hartman, and I thought he responded beautifully as well today.
He did. He had a little bit of a perimeter matchup that was favorable to him. He had a big guy on him that was a little bit slower, so he had a speed advantage out on the perimeter. But rebounding-wise, I thought he did a great job because, he was dealing with a guy who was a lot bigger than he was, and he did a really good job of, boxing out and doing the right things and then grabbing those rebounds.
Let's face it, taking on this John Carroll team, they work you from a pressure standpoint. They make you speed things up. It was kind of hit or miss today for Cam. He goes 2 of 10 from the field, only 9 points. He had some key turnovers down the stretch, but I thought for the most part he held his own against John Carroll. When you sit back and figure out how he did against John Carroll, I thought that was a gritty performance by Cam.
Yeah. I mean, and he's getting pressured all game long, and he's working his way through it. I mean, it's a tough job to have, and he's working on getting better too. But can't have all the turnovers, but at the same time, he kind of grinds it out, and as physical as he is and stuff, he's still quite an asset.
Well, I made reference to that double overtime loss to Heidelberg. You get to face that team coming up here next week against Wednesday. That's a tough bunch, and that's going to be a tough game for you guys. What are you going to need to work on in ahead of that game?
We're going to have to be able to stay in front of their guards. That's going to be a big thing, and not let them get off to a 5 of 5, shooting start from 3. Those are probably the two main things. But we just need to go out there with a mentality that we're going to get them back for what they did to us here.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Nick Fellhaber, join us here on the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. Again, our postgame coach interview brought to you by Freshies. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll take a look at some scores around the OAC, name our player of the game, and eventually sign off here from the Capitol Center. This is the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball. It is Capitol who falls to John Carroll today by a final of 100-89 in double overtime.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team for the next big event, Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria? Blank's is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
Welcome back to the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. Our final today from the Capitol Center. It is John Carroll, 100. Capitol 89 in double overtime. It's now time to name today's player of the game, brought to you by Planks Cafe and Pizzeria. And today we're going to give the honor to Reed Bradfield. Bradfield with 20 points to go along with 13 rebounds. He shot 9 of 17 from the field today, and given the fact that Capitol had to soldier on without the services of Joe Hartman, who suffered that shoulder injury in the loss to Marietta earlier this week, I think Reed Bradfield did a fine job down there on the low block for Capitol. Kept Capitol in for most of this game before he finally found out. Again, Reed Bradfield, our player of the game, brought to you by Planks Cafe and Pizzeria. Let's take one more look around the OAC. This is brought to you by the Capital Army ROTC. We actually have a final to give to you today. Actually, I take that back. All games right now are being played at the moment around the OAC, so I actually read that wrong. My apologies. 10:42 left in the first half at Marietta. The Pioneers losing to Ohio Northern at the moment, 18-12. Still a lot of basketball left to be played in that one, but boy, if the Polar Bears were able to pull that one off, that'd be quite the shocker around the OAC. 5:48 left to play in the first half at Wilmington. The Quakers leading the Baldwin-Wallace Yellow Jackets 22-13 in that one. And the final game that is in action at the moment, Mount Union playing host to Otterbein in that game. And it is Mount Union up 23-17 with about 10:43 left to play in that game. Coming up later on today at 4 o'clock, to be more specific, Muskingum plays host to Heidelberg. And the women's team right now in action at the moment at John Carroll. They're on the road today as they try to pick up a big road win against the Blue Streaks up there in University Heights, Ohio. And it is the women's team. Let's see here as my scoreboard slowly but surely is able to get on track here. Looks as though the women's team is on track for an early lead in this game. Let's see. Take that back, actually. 2:49 left to play in the second quarter. It is John Carroll who leads Capital by a score of 36-18. So John Carroll actually out to a big-time lead over the Crusaders early on in that game. It's Olivia Nagy who already's got 20 in that game. Cassidy Bosch is leading the Crusaders in scoring in that one with 6 points. So with the win today, John Carroll improves to 14-7 overall, 7-7 with an OAC play. Capital, meanwhile, drops to 11-10 overall, 7-7 with an OAC play. And depending upon how the action progresses today in the OAC throughout the afternoon, we could see a 4-way tie for 4th place in the OAC. So there is still plenty to be decided left here in the conference as we rapidly approach the middle part, the end part of February. Again, the OAC men's and women's basketball tournaments will be taking place later on this month. Things starting to tighten up around the OAC. Before we let you go, let's go ahead and tell you what's up next for both the women's and men's teams. Our next women's basketball broadcast will be on Wednesday, February 12th, when the women's team plays host to Heidelberg. That game is scheduled for 7 o'clock. And Jimmy Bloomfield will have the call for you. He'll get things started with the Freshies pregame show beginning at 6:30. The men's team, meanwhile, they will be on the road. They will be at Heidelberg. That game is scheduled for a 7 o'clock start. Keep it tuned here to athletics.capital.edu for live stats, a little game cast, play-by-play, if you will, along the website. That's your way of keeping track of what goes on in that particular game. Our next men's basketball broadcast, meanwhile, well, it'll be on Valentine's Day, Friday, February 14th. Some Friday night hoops from the Cap Center as the Baldwin-Wallace Yellow Jackets come to Bexley to take on the Crusaders. That game is scheduled for a 7 o'clock start, and we will get things started with the Freshies pregame show beginning at 6:30 p.m. This is Charlie Danis saying one final time, the final score today from the Capitol Center. In double overtime, it is John Carroll, 100, Capital, 89. So long, and good night from Bexley, Ohio.